The latest in gaming news is sadly all about bad news. First, Fable has been delayed to 2026, and rumors and theories are swirling as to why. And while this is a prediction that I made about Fable, it doesn't make it any less disappointing for what looked like one of the strongest years Xbox would have this gen. And it's still a strong year, but this certainly makes the pattern of celebrating roadmaps from Xbox that end up being full of delays a little tiring. Now we're going to look at the various theories and insider claims about the delay. I uploaded a video last night. If you haven't checked it out, it's a short one. It's only about 4 minutes long. And I basically just said, I have a lot of questions about what's going on at Xbox with games that get announced and then get delayed or not showing us real gameplay. Be sure to check that out. Doc Dark even gave me a little bit of a shout out in his latest video about it. He said he kind of agreed with my take. So check that video out. Secondly, WB has sadly announced the closure of multiple studios. More than that, they've officially canceled the Wonder Woman game, and that was going to be using the famously trademarked Nemesis system. But the real tragedy here is multi-layered. It's not just about a game. And as always, I have a game for your wish list and your radar. Now, if you watch these streams later, be sure to hit the like button. Even if you weren't here for the live show, hitting that like button can help me out, help people more people find the video. And we've continued to say, hey, if you like this content, a great way to support the channel, it's why I'm able to do this full time, is the paying members. So click join, pick Member Plus for $6, and then you get into all the extra content that I do. All right, so first, let's just dive into this. Like, what is going on with Fable? Now, in case you missed it, Xbox did an official podcast which contained an announcement that Fable has been delayed to 2026, and this is what they said. We previously announced the date for Fable as 2025. We're actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. While I know that's not maybe the news that people want to hear, what I want to assure people is that it's definitely worth the wait, and I have unequivocal confidence in the Playgrounds team. Now, at other parts in the podcast, they spoke to putting games on more platforms and how that is good for all players or for more players. And some people thought this was related to the delay. Now, Nate the Hate, an Xbox insider, has said that Fable was already slated for PS5 in 2026. And he feels that this definitely could be related. I had somebody reach out to me who is a very reliable source, and they said that they felt like my video about this was on target, that I'm hitting a bullseye in that video somewhere, and I do a lot of speculating about why this was actually delayed, so be sure to check that out. Now, Nate the Hate said he wasn't sure if this was related, and another insider, Xtasis, who now works for Insider Gaming, said that they know the real reason. And essentially what Xtasis said was they aren't happy with the gameplay rhythm. It doesn't feel fun. They want this game to be next level, okay? But it's not related to GTA 6, according to Xtasis, and it's not related to the PlayStation ports to like Nintendo or PlayStation. I found Xtasis's, reasons to be somewhat generic. I do think Xtasis is a reliable insider, but the reasons were pretty generic, so I don't necessarily know if his claims refute the claims of other people that are basically saying this is in relation to the PlayStation port. There are other people saying that this game seems to be in development hell. There was a lead engineer who said in 2021 they had been working on the game for 4 years, and you do a little quick math, when this game finally lands, that's a 9-year development cycle. Now, I've had a lot of people jump on my tweet, and they're like, this is just what it takes to make games of this scope and size, and I'm like, listen, I am all for letting developers have as much time as they need to develop games, but this really, I think, does damage to Xbox Showcase and Roadmap bragging that we always see. They've announced a lot of games that are still just nowhere to be seen. We constantly hear about like, oh, where's Wolverine? Why'd they announce Wolverine so early? I think Xbox has a worse track record here. If you're keeping score, I mean, not that it matters, but like if you're keeping score about like games that get announced and then we get to see nothing or they get delayed, especially when these games are included on roadmaps and given assurances to people like, oh, this is a great reason to stay on Game Pass, it really starts to get, I think, annoying as both a consumer and someone who covers these events to always end up feeling like, well, these roadmaps just aren't really roadmaps anymore. They're vague promises so that people stay on Game Pass, and it continues to feel like Xbox is going to have to find its footing here as it's moving into publishing. I don't think this kind of cadence and delay and constantly showing up with cinematic trailers, that was another thing I really hammered home yesterday. This pre-alpha footage 100% proves that up to now, they have not been showing us gameplay. And I was given assurances by so many people that they were showing us gameplay up to now. Listen, this looks completely fine for pre-alpha footage, but this definitively proves that the last two trailers, that was not real gameplay. I call it simulated gameplay. They basically go in the engine and they tell the game to make everything like look really nice. It's not somebody actually controlling the character, and I feel that simulated gameplay is incredibly misleading, and now we know definitively that up till now they've basically just been lying, because if this is your best foot forward, if this is the best gameplay you have to show, the year the game was supposed to come out, then everything you've shown up to now has just been smoke and mirrors. And frankly, I'm just getting a little tired of it. I don't want showcases to just be vague assurances about roadmaps and games. I don't want fake gameplay. I want to know what your game looks like. I want to know when it's coming out. If you can't show me that, then don't say anything. If you can't give me that release date or actual gameplay, then don't say anything. I'm okay with announcement trailers that don't show much. And then after that, it's time to show gameplay. It's time to give release dates. I think companies need to start shrinking those marketing windows and stop making these assurances. It's totally fine to be like, here's a teaser trailer for Fable, and then say nothing for 4 or 5 years. That's totally fine. That's essentially what they've done with Wolverine. But if you're going to keep showing up to events and keep showing this fake simulated gameplay, I believe they're doing the same thing with State of Decay 3. I don't think we've seen real gameplay. I think it's fake. I think it's simulated, and they positioned it almost identically to how they positioned the gameplay for Fable. I believe this essentially comes from Xbox. I believe Xbox wants good things to show at the showcase, and they don't care if it's accurate or not. They don't care if it's on a timeline of delivery or not. They're just going to put it out there and essentially mislead the public and those who continue to subscribe to Game Pass. And I think it's time to change. I think the tactic should be very different now. I hope it's different because they have too much property, they have too many games, they have too many studios to be pulling these shenanigans every time they do a showcase or an event. And in the theme of bad news, if you were looking forward to the Wonder Woman game, well, it's not coming to the market. WB has announced both studio closures and that Wonder Woman has been canceled. They said the following: "We have made some very difficult decisions to structure our development studio and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. After careful consideration, we are closing 3 of our development studios, Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego. This is a strategic change in a direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that consists within them." Yeah, it certainly isn't a reflection of the talent that's within them, you dolts. This is Monolith. This is the company that made Shadow of Mordor. This is the company that made Shadow of War, and they were working on a Wonder Woman game. Losing this talent is an egregious mistake, and as far as I can tell, WB is going to reap negative consequences from this. They want to double down on live service. I believe they have completely misdiagnosed why Kill the Justice League failed. I believe that they have internally decided that Kill the Justice League failed because it wasn't popular enough IP. I think they're going to leverage Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC with Batman and Game of Thrones, and they're just going to try and push out a bunch of live service slop. And in the process, you're shutting down studios that make great games with great combat systems. And in the midst of this, we're not going to see the actual patented Nemesis system that they locked down until like 2036 or something ridiculous. Now, if they're strapped for cash, maybe they'll sell that patent and it will get used by somebody. It'd be amazing for somebody to buy it and then just basically release it to the public so that other studios can use it. But I have grave concerns about what WB brings to the market going forward. I genuinely do. I think they're going to try to make Hogwarts Legacy live service, which I think the first game could have been an ongoing game. They could have had cool things that they were doing in the game to obviously generate revenue. But now the concern is they're going to make the second game almost entirely focused on that, instead of it being something sort of additive. So going forward, it seems that that's WB's plan, to leverage their big IP and to crank out live service games, and more than likely they're going to suffer grave consequences because I don't think the live service market is going to be conducive for their plans, and in the process they've shut down great studios that brought great games to the market, and we now have more talent loss and more property loss because these companies do not know how to make good plans and to predict where things should go. Everybody basically chased the live service dollar, and now they're all trying to scramble to figure out what they should do going forward, and WB's doubling down. And they're like, well, we're just going to do it again with bigger property, as if that's going to fix the issue. So Sadly, bad news all around right now in the gaming world, but I do have a game for your wish list and your radar. I think it's still a strong year for 2025, and we've got some great games coming. This one's called Slime Heroes. It's billed as a funny action RPG Souls-like. It's releasing on March the 6th for Xbox, Switch, PC, and it's also supposed to be coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, but we don't have release dates yet for that. It's only really showing a release date on Steam. It was supposed to release in mid-February, but they had a slight delay into early March. You can play a demo right now on Steam. It features both online and split-screen co-op, and I think it looks, honestly, a little bit like Slime Rancher, but it doesn't seem to have any relation to it. And I think it looks like it could be a really fun time. If you're looking for something to play with a buddy over the internet or locally, it seems like it's trying to hit that fun, frenetic, charming combat kind of all baked in to one. Now, with it being a Souls-like, I don't know if it's going to be, one of those games that gets harder and harder and harder, and then obviously maybe you'll have to lower the difficulty if that's an option. So this game right around the corner. If you're looking for something fun to play with a buddy or a friend, check out Slime Heroes. So quick recap. It's not great. Fable has been delayed. We don't really know why. A lot of theories are swirling. And then WB is chasing the almighty live service dollar, and in the process, they're shutting down good studios and canceling projects. So that's the news. Now it's time for the discussion. Guys, be sure to be smashing the like button. Get us headed for 200 likes. We have been starting off so strong lately. So many people end up tuning in. And then we end up getting a lot of likes very quickly. And Joker Quinn is like the king lately with starting off the day. Han shot first, and so did you. Wait, that's the wrong button. There we go. I was like doing the Q&A button, and you guys saw half of a trailer. There we go. 153 members on the week. Thank you guys so much for continuing to renew your memberships, upgrade, and gift as well. It's greatly appreciated. Chat slow or something? I'm not really sure. Chat looks normal to me. Yo, what's good, feed? How are you? Smooth Jazz said, still sad it closed, but that team was long gone at Monolith. Yeah, apparently in 2021, this is according to Jason Schreier. Jason Schreier is saying this was the leadership group at Monolith on the Middle Earth games. Okay, so this is what he's saying. He says this was the leadership group at Middle Earth. I'm sorry, at Monolith on Middle Earth. Every single one of these people left in 2021 after Warner canceled their game. Most started a new studio within EA. Monolith then began working on Wonder Woman, but it simultaneously had to rebuild its entire leadership team. So it seems as though they sort of had a game that they were working on, and when it got canceled, they all left. Now, that was probably pretty devastating. Right? That still doesn't mean you don't have a lot of talented people there in a talented studio. I still think that's a significant loss for Warner Brothers, but it just goes to show you what happens when you barge in the room and you tell people, hey, you're not working on that anymore, you're working on this now. They lost a bunch of people, it's unfortunate that that's what happened, and I think these companies have got to start to learn to have a more hands-off approach. With their studios, oh, there we go. I was like, I wasn't getting monetization options on the back end. Man, YouTube's acting funny. And a gifted member from DK Bager, and then a renewal from Cisco, 28 months. Thank you so much. Let's add those to the total. And a number member plus from Solid Crusader is back. Hey, Reforge, what's up, my man? Do you think are next on the list of closing down their studios? Capcom, Konami, Rocksteady, Santa Monica? I don't think any of those studios are in danger of closing down. That's three. It's obviously not funny when studios close down. Jiminy Christmas. There's a lot of people. Did you see these tweets from Detective Seeds? Detective Seeds said they have 430-ish full-time employees. They have some contractors, but not very top-heavy there. All studios have contractors, though. It's not just a Microsoft thing. I thought the same, but doing some research and asking guys that work at other studios outside of Microsoft, it's pretty normal. I think Microsoft's size, though, because of how many people they employ, it makes it seem more rampant from the outside in. But at the same time, I know some studios lean on contractors more. Okay, but the issue is, I don't think Seeds can demonstrate this because I don't think this is demonstrated in the market. I don't know if I'm not quite sure what point he's driving at. The issue at Xbox Studios and Microsoft has never been that people are on contracts. That's a fundamental misunderstanding of the criticism of how Microsoft operates. It's not that people are on contracts. It's that contract employees have to leave after 18 months. That is not a standard practice in the industry. Now, that is something that, like, people who defend Microsoft and Xbox always try to claim. I don't think Detective Siege is trying to claim that, but there's been plenty of people that have tried to act as if that's totally normal. Oh yeah, everybody does that. No, that's not true. Plenty of studios use contracts, and the people stay on for the duration of the project. Or some of the contracts run for about 12 months because they're the QA department. They come in at the very, very end, and they do QA for 12 months and then they leave. These are not pivotal people. These are not developers, engineers, project leads, and the like. What happened at 343 is not, oh, they had people on contracts, that's bad. You know, other studios do contracts, and, you know, it's not that big of a deal. It was that people are leaving every 18 months. Preacher says, of course, every studio does contractors, but that they have the 18-month rolling contracts. I don't think so. Most companies hire contracts for the duration of the project. Right. Creature's saying the same thing I'm saying. As you guys pile in, the news is not good. Fable delayed to 2026, and studios being closed by Warner Brothers, and the Wonder Woman game canceled. Steed's point is specifically talking about Playground Games in regards to the contractors. I was responding to his second tweet. He seems to indicate that they don't have a lot of contractors over there at Playground, so that's not the problem. Okay, great. His second tweet is that, you know, a lot of people that work outside of Microsoft say it's pretty normal. What's pretty normal? I don't think that that's true. I do not think that it's normal across the industry to do 18-month rolling contracts. That is unique to Microsoft. That's something that they put into place when they got sued for miscategorizing employees because they don't want to pay them benefits. You basically are dealing with the dishonest company that is trying to save money. You know, all these people that cheer for Microsoft, that's the company that you're cheering for. You think the Perfect Dark devs are on the chopping block? I don't think any of the Microsoft studios are on the chopping block because I think Microsoft wants property to come to market. I don't think they're going to close any of those studios down before they ship their games. Now, they might pull a Hi-Fi Rush and a Redfall, ship something just to ship something so you got something to sell and got something to put on Game Pass, and then close the studios down. I don't see any indication that any of those studios are in danger of being shut down, though. As much as it sucks that Fable was delayed, I had a feeling it would be. We had heard so little, there was no way it was ready. Well, and this situation with Fable proved me right on two things. I kept saying, I think it got delayed. They're handling this game very strangely. You didn't even have it at the Dev Direct. You know, and people kept saying, well, it could be like Starfield. I was like, okay, fine. So I could be off on that. Well, no, I was right. It was delayed. The second thing that I was proven right by is I kept telling people that the trailer from 2 years ago and the trailer from last year, I kept saying, that's not gameplay. And now we have definitive proof that it wasn't gameplay. In 2025, the year that the game was supposed to come out, you're showing us pre-alpha footage. And it looks fine for pre-alpha footage, but this is your best showcase right now? The game was supposed to come out this year. How bad is this game right now? How bad is the state of Fable? That in the year the game was supposed to come out, the best you can show is pre-alpha footage? For all intents and purposes, this thing was supposed to come out in the next 6 to 8 months. What? And that's all you have to show? Are you serious? You announced the game 5 years ago. What's going on? What are your thoughts on Venom and Wolverine titles? Wolverine's likely next year, and I think Venom is a surprise title this year. I don't think the Wolverine trailer is equal in this scenario because they showed it at the beginning of the gen and they never said anything after that. There was never any assurances that, like, Wolverine was right around the corner. Fable's been at, like, every single showcase they've done since the game was announced. It's like it's constantly, it's had numerous trailers. And then last year they finally show up, no, not finally, then they show up and they have a release year. They're like, oh yeah, next year. This game was apparently coming out in the next, it's February, okay? It's almost March. So let's just say it was coming out in the next 6 to 8 months. In the final 6 to 8 months of your development pipeline, the best thing you have to show is some pre-alpha footage that's passable. Like, it's fine. It's not bad. It's not terrible, but that's it. Oh, I didn't set the super chat goal. Sorry, Siriu. Hang on 1 second. I will gift a member. Guys, we're a little behind on the member goal, so make sure you're celebrating your renewals, upgrading, or gifting. And Siriu does a super chat that says, this is why I never understood giving Microsoft showcases 9s and 10s. Execution matters more than intention. The gaming industry is about to go through, or is already starting to go through, what Hollywood's going through. You need to explain what you mean by that. I'm not sure what you mean. I get being a little bothered that a game is delayed, but I don't get the anger. Let them finish. Let me explain the anger to you, Guillermo. This is another game. This is another game that continued to show up the last couple of years and was basically celebrated as, oh yeah, this game's coming. It's oh, here it comes. Oh man, 2025 is going to be amazing. And then it slides off the table. It's a pattern with Xbox that I think some fans are getting tired of. He responded to me, having contractors with contract periods. No, I don't. Like, again, Detective Seeds is not being factually incorrect, but I think he's I don't know if he's doing it on purpose. It feels like he's misrepresenting the situation. The issue with Microsoft contracts is not that they're for set periods. It's that every single contract cannot exceed 18 months because they don't want to pay people benefits. Having set period contracts for other titles is not the same. It's not an equivalency. Commonly, some of the most common contracts in the development world are the QA team. The quality assurance team comes in at the end and they'll sign on for a 6 to 12 month contract. That is not an equivalency to what they're doing at Microsoft. It's not the same. Danny, is that an upgrade or a renewal? Let me know. A lot of you guys have been upgrading. And it's greatly appreciated. The Member Plus count continues to go up, and it's just been incredible to see. More and more people are saying, hey, I want to support the channel directly. Yeah, that's an upgrade. Thank you, Danny. That is worth 2. You guys that upgrade from Member Lite to Member Plus, man, that is a huge deal. We are at $5.79. We need like 20 more people to upgrade, and we will hit that milestone. It's $1 more, and it's not about the dollar. It's about getting out of the gifted pool. We want more new people getting the gifteds. Some people have been getting a gifted for, 18 months strong, and if you need it, I want you to stay there. If you don't need it and can pay for your own, man, let somebody else have a seat at the table. The difference with Xbox contracts is they have to go home for 6 months at the end of the 18. That's not common. Contract workers are common. Not renewing contracts and sending them home and losing the talent for 6 months is not. That's exactly right. The situation at Xbox and Microsoft is entirely different. Street Shadow says, I was a contractor as a UX designer and I was extended multiple times for 2.5 years. Lono is right. They eventually made me full-time. Thank you. People in the industry will tell you that's not normative. That is not what the rest of the industry does. It is, it's so painful. It is specific. And Duff comes in with the brand new membership at Member Plus. He says, I'm getting involved, and that takes us to 160. That is a record high for us. We are now the highest we have ever been at Member Plus and above. The previous record was 579, and we are now at 580. Keep it going. Sign up brand new or upgrade, man. Hit that join button. Detective says, Microsoft has different policies, which does not seem to hurt their development cycles from what we have seen. I'm saying that having contractors come in is normal for different roles. I like Detective Seeds, and he's a friend of mine. We're going to get steak together someday, but he is 100% wrong. I mean, there's not a piece of that sentence that is correct. That is 100% wrong. Listen to me. We do have evidence that it's disrupted development cycles. He needs to go read the autopsy on Halo Infinite and 343. He needs to go read that. He knows better. That is not true. That is not true. We have it on very, very good authority. He says it does. Microsoft has different policies, I'm sorry. I'm reading at an angle. Okay, no. He's agreeing with me. I'm sorry. I was going to say, man, he's way too smart to know to be saying what he's saying. I misunderstood what he said. I'm reading the small Discord over here on the right. I should be reading here. He says, Microsoft has different policies, which does seem to hurt their development cycles from what we have seen. I am saying that having contractors come in is normal for different roles. Okay, so yeah, he's completely fine in what he's saying now. I misunderstood. Sorry. I need to stop reading Discord on the right part of the monitor. I commonly misread when it's way over there because it's small and my eyes are getting old. Sorry, that was Tony. Yeah, Doc Dart gave me a shout out in his video on the Fable thing, and then he did his Tony character. The brain drain and talent and institutional knowledge lost, plus the onboarding costs as a result, is not normal, and it's extremely disruptive. Yeah, I think that's something that everybody keeps missing in the equation. Yeah, I'm being told they try to rotate people back in to circumvent hiring laws and labor laws. But the problem is they actually have it as a policy as well that you can't come back for 6 months. So, Discord taking strays as usual. It's just over to the side and I can't see as well. It's like I have to turn my whole head over there, like instead of just looking forward. You unfollow Doc because of the cringe cosplay? Oh, it's funny and harmless. Xbox has been lacking, but this is the first time in a long time I've been playing my Xbox regularly with Indiana Jones and Avowed and probably Midnight and Doom. Here's the thing, Guillermo. All right, here's the thing. Xbox is going to have its strongest year this gen. That's true. It's also true that it took 5 years. Okay, that's also true. It's also true that Fable showed up 2 years in a row with fake gameplay to make people think that the thing was cooking and was hot and was coming and was almost around the corner. Right? Seeds correcting you on Twitter instead of typing in chat is pretty funny. Seeds, what are you doing? I just said it does seem to hurt. Which part is pretty normal? Having contractors of the rolling 8. No, he's responding to Lone Wolf. I said it does seem to hurt. Seeds, I'm having a hard time reading today. I am. I'm having a hard time reading. I'm getting old. That's my fault. I'm hoping for better things. They skipped having the annual release last year. Maybe they finally caved to the negative feedback. I'm not sure what. Oh, you guys talking about Pokemon, I think. They lie constantly. I was wondering why my noties on Twitter were going off. Yeah, Hex, you're in that thread. Guys, take a quick second as you come in. Go through the ritual of smashing the like button. If you haven't watched my video on Fable, it's a quick one. Go watch it and then come back. It's 4 minutes long. It's called Fable Delay. I have questions. I'm replaying Returnal, never beat it. Biome 5 is breaking my spirit. I think Biome 5 is the hardest. Yeah, I think it's the hardest biome because you can get in rooms that are just insane and they're cramped. I think the biggest problem with Biome 5 is lack of space. You just can get really cramped and there's nowhere to go. Yeah, I think Biome 5 is the hardest. Biome 6 is pretty free. You just have to take your time. As long as you're patient in Biome 6, you're fine. Doesn't matter, those games were coming to Xbox anyway. Buying a publisher doesn't change anything other than indie. Most of those games are mid. 5 is nuts. It's so much fun though. It gets wild. Yeah, it gets wild. I'm gonna lightly press the like button. It's been taking a lot of size lately. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Hang on, I'm getting another message here. Most people don't stick around on cooldown. I'm here now. Yeah, it does seem to hurt their development cycle, says Seeds, because of their practice. Studios do use contractors, though. They seem to use them more in a more predatory way, if you will. I have found from a lot of my research, Seeds, that the most common contract in the gaming industry is for the QA department. They bring them in for 6 to 12 months, and it's at the very end of the project. So it's understood that they're not staying on, that they're not full-time. That seems to be the majority of contracts in the gaming industry. And then you have particular roles, research and development, or level designers like we saw with Marvel Rivals. Those guys linked in, they were commonly at companies for 1 to 2 years, commonly. So I think that the way that Xbox does it has been just absolutely destructive. I'm sorry, Microsoft, the way Microsoft does it. A $20 super chat tip from Solid Crusader is back. What are your thoughts in the gaming industry is there should be a firm policy that no game should be announced unless there is gameplay showcase available for gamers by devs and either releasing the same the next year. I don't think that's a good policy, and here's why. I don't know why that didn't count towards the Super Chat goal. I am sorry. And guys, make sure that it's saving your like count, all right? We're trying to get 200 likes, and YouTube's robbing us of likes. So make sure it's saving the likes, all right? It's been acting up again. I don't think that'd be a good policy, and here's why, okay? Here's why. Number one, I think announcement trailers are totally fine. You can count these nuts, says Zubair, and he bumps the member line to 161. We are super behind on pace. We need to end the day and be at 300. Y'all are going to need some of the big boys to come in and save you. We've been a little slow again this week. Mash saved your guys' bacon last week a bunch. So, here's the deal. I think announcement trailers are fine for a couple of reasons. I like knowing, oh, hey, you got some good things coming. Even if the game is 3, 4, and 5 years out, I don't mind an announcement trailer. I don't think announcement trailers are a problem. Now, if announcement trailers make up the bulk of your event, well, then I'm going to be frustrated. Like the year that PlayStation did a showcase and we got Concord Cinematic, Fair Game Cinematic, Marathon Cinematic. Get the frick out. Like, that was dumb. I did not like that. I thought that was an oversaturation of cinematic trailers that showed me nothing. You want to do like a cinematic of Wolverine and announce it and then not say anything for 4 years, 5 years? I'm fine with that. I don't mind announcement trailers. Announcement trailers also serve the purpose sometimes of scouting talent. They're trying to get people to come work at the company, and they've got to announce the fact that, hey, we're building this game. After you make your announcement trailer, I am in firm agreement that the next time you show up, bring gameplay and bring a release date and be coming within 12 to 18 months. Like, I need to be able to buy your game within the next year to maybe year and a half. So to me, I don't mind announcement trailer and then they go dead quiet. And then the next time they show up, bring the gameplay and bring the release date. And the release date better be close at hand, within about a year, I think, or maybe a year and a half. But this thing of like announcement, cinematic trailer, dude, no, go away. I don't need another cinematic trailer. I know you're making the game. You don't need to remind me, hey, we're making the game, guys. Here's a cinematic trailer. What good did it do for Fable to show up in 2023 and 2024 with fake gameplay? What was the purpose of that? What purpose did it serve? Other than tricking you and making you think the game was going to look better than it actually looks, and giving you the sense of like, oh, it's coming, it's almost here. It's like, it doesn't serve a good purpose for the consumer. Mass says no spoilers. I can't finish Avowed. On the last mission, the Siege of Paradise, after speaking to the leaders, nothing happens. Major bug. Total game played 25 hours for context. Is there a fix for that? Mash, have you looked? Eugene says, the devs started in 2017. They announced the game in 2020 before the consoles were even released. They showed it year after year after year. We are now in year 8 of development. It won't release until at least year 9. It's Fable Punk. It's coming! Donnie renewing his membership. Thank you so much, Donnie. Game Pass has been cooking since COD, Indiana, Avowed, and then Midnight, etc. Sure, Fable missed the mark, but it doesn't mean that they're not having a good year. I'm just happy my Xbox is being used. Guillermo, I am super genuine glad that guys like you are going to be able to use your Series X this year. Because I'm like you. For the last 4 years, I haven't really turned it on. To the point that I played COD on my PlayStation. You know? And a member plus from Nova Hands, have you heard about the new Gift of Eden project coming? No, I'll have to look it up. Oh, Gift of... you messed up! You messed up, Nova. And a 50 bomb from MASH. Once again, he comes in and is saving your bacon. You guys better say thank you to this man. He absolutely carries the member count on his back. This is the reason. This is the reason you guys need to upgrade to Member Plus and get out of the gifted pool. We have very generous people here, and we want new people to get members. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Yo, Iceberg 2K, I saw that you became a Member Plus overnight. I don't even think you were here, and you became a Member Plus. I feel like I remember you. Am I remembering you from the Destiny days? I feel like you were a homie on Twitch. I have a vague memory of you. I went to your channel and looked, and I was like, I feel like I know this guy. I was literally just eating bacon. Thank you, Mash, for saving it. Corey says, please see my last comment. All right, hang on a second. The problem I have with people who didn't like the showcase where they showed Concord, Fair Games, and Marathon cinematic trailers is that all those games were being announced. Okay. Are you sure about that? Concord, Fair Games, and Marathon? I thought Concord had already been announced. In any case, Corey, it's fine to have announcement trailers. And go back to what I said. I said, just don't make that like the bulk of your showcase. The bulk of the first party presence at that PlayStation showcase were cinematic trailers. I don't mind an announcement trailer. You've got to announce your game. That's totally fine. It's totally fine to have an announcement trailer. I'm okay with that. But if it's like, here's an announcement trailer for Wolverine, here's one for Concord, here's one for Fair Games, here's one for Marathon, that crap will get old really quickly. I'll even throw in Sorrows. Can you imagine showing up to a PlayStation showcase and that's what they did? They showed us another cinematic of Wolverine, another cinematic for Marathon, another cinematic for Fair Games, another cinematic for Sorrows. I'd be like, yo, what the frick are you doing? Quit wasting my time with this. I know you're making those games. You don't need to show up again and show me another cinematic. That's my irritation with Xbox and Fable and even State of Decay 3. They show up with the trailer that's completely unnecessary with fake gameplay, and then it ends up getting delayed and taking a long time to come to the market. You're better off not showing it to me. I don't want to see it. It doesn't make any sense. I've only been here for a few months. Love your content. Okay. Your name was so familiar to me, it was throwing me for a loop. I was like, do I know this guy? I've been doing this for a really long time. So after 10 years of content creation, sometimes names are triggering false memories, I think, sometimes. If you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. You can talk on my chat. Subscribing is free. Thank you for 200 likes. Thank you for a strong turnout. And thank you, Legend, for 33 months and a membership renewal. I owe you guys a 10 bomb. I was waiting for Mashes to finish, and that puts us at 212, right? I owe you guys 10. Here comes my 10. All right? I can't believe Mash just casually dropped like the biggest member bomb you can do. He's just like, yeah, here's a 50 bomb. You mean freaking Christmas. Here's a 10. We're going to start to lock Mash in a cage. I'm going to start, and oh my gosh, a 50 bomb from Pathalon Phoenix. Unreal. We have 2 people dropping 50 bombs today. I don't think are we going to have, oh my gosh, we had a 50, the last time we had a 50 bomb train, you guys crashed my dadgum computer. You guys crashed my computer the last time we had a 50 bomb train. Hopefully it doesn't happen this time. 2 50 bombs back to back, one from MASH, one from Pathalon Phoenix. Unbelievable. You guys literally killed my old streaming computer. Yeah, Chris Bear's like, it killed the old computer. The old computer was like, I'm tired, boss. Like, I can't do it anymore. Alejandro says, if Elder Scrolls 6 releases another 10-second trailer, I'm going to flip the frick out. Now, I always defend the Elder Scrolls trailer because they were basically forced to do that. Gaming press, gaming media always ask them about Elder Scrolls. They could be there to talk about Doom, and they'd be like, are you going to make Elder Scrolls, though? You guys are making an Elder Scrolls, right? You guys are making the next Elder Scrolls, aren't you? And they're like, all right, shut the frick up. Here's a teaser trailer. Can you stop asking us about Elder Scrolls so we can show up and talk about our other games? Thank you. Right? That was the gaming press's fault. I'm talking about a very, very specific pattern with Xbox specifically. They show up to showcases, and they show us cinematics, or they show us fake gameplay, and then they give you a roadmap, and then when the showcase is over, everybody goes, eating good, best showcase, best roadmap. Hey, where's your roadmap? Why doesn't PlayStation have a roadmap? And then what happens? The roadmap is a lie. The cake is a lie, and so is an Xbox roadmap. I don't think we've seen an accurate Xbox roadmap this entire gen. It's never once been accurate. It hasn't once been accurate. And I think Xbox fans have every right to call that out and say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Quit giving us fake roadmaps. Especially, thank you, homie Juan Kenobi. I love that name, 32 months. Appreciate the streams, makes the workday fly by. Thank you so much, and that gets us to 263. And just like that, we are climbing once again. You guys are insane. Listen. They don't need to do this anymore. That's what's adding to the frustration for me. You don't need to do this. Xbox, you have a great year ahead of you. You have Avowed already out. Doing fine. It's not beating the doors down. Okay, that's okay though. It's a fine game, serviceable game. It's got a solid score. And that's on the heels of Indiana Jones. And then you got South of Midnight. And then you got Doom the Dark Ages. And then you got The Outer Worlds 2. And then you got an annual Call of Duty. You don't need to do this anymore, Xbox. You have too much content and too many studios and too many games to be pulling these shenanigans. Quit with the fake trailers and the fake gameplay and the fake roadmaps. You don't need to do it anymore. It's like you're out of the woods and you're still playing the same games. A $5 super chat from Syria. The roadmap is massive and growing because the games never release. And a single gifted from Mike on the mic. And a 5 bomb from Alex Witter. Thank you so much. That gets us to 269. Nice. Thank you guys so much for the continued generosity to this community. You guys that are getting gifted members, be sure to say thank you to the people that are doing this. All right? And if you hit upgrade or use the upgrade command, you can bump up by $1 and make room for others. You don't need to stay on a gifted. All right? And when you're at Member Plus, you get into more content anyway. PlayStation needs to make some games. This is getting ridiculous. I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean they need to make some games? Why does PlayStation publishing or first-party studios cadence suddenly matter? They had more exclusives last year than Xbox. I don't know what you want. If you specifically mean the studios that they own, I don't think that matters. I really don't. That only matters when you're trying to keep some weird made-up score on Twitter. PlayStation has put out more exclusives than Xbox has. That's something that's not a remake? Okay. So you don't count any of the other exclusives or published games they had last year? Because there was a lot. It wasn't just remakes. Did you play any of those games? So I'm assuming you have a PlayStation since you're worried about PlayStation's cadence. Syria with the 5 bomb gets us to 274. One away from me owing you guys some more members. What? I'm assuming you have a PlayStation. Since you're concerned about their games and their publishing efforts or their first-party efforts, did you play any of the exclusives that they got last year? Did you check any of them out? They had more than Xbox. I don't understand. Like, Xbox really didn't show up until late in the year anyway. It was basically Hellblade for almost the entire year, and then it was Stalker 2, not a first-party studio, and then it was Indiana Jones. I, in fact, have a PlayStation and a PC, and it's been dry. So, did you not play Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink? You didn't play those games? You didn't. I'm assuming you didn't play Astrobot, Silent Hill 2. You didn't play any of those games? They had a pretty good cadence last year of either publishing and or exclusive efforts. Did you play Helldivers 2? You thought 2024 was dry? What were your top games last year? What games did you spend time in? This feels eerily familiar. Yeah, I know. We keep getting these guys that are not on Xbox. They're on PC and PlayStation, and they're mysteriously disappointed in PlayStation, and they say the same talking points every single time. And when we ask them about all the exclusives that came out, they're either not going to have an answer or say they didn't like them, or I don't know. I'm genuinely curious what games you played last year. Apparently, the PlayStation exclusives weren't good. You don't have to like them. I'm just curious. Like, if that's not enough for you, then I don't know when you're ever going to get enough. That's the second party. So you care about them owning the studio. I can't relate. Sorry. You'll be disappointed this year as well. The only studio they own that's bringing something to market is Sucker Punch. But you're not going to count Death Stranding 2 as a publishing effort or Lost Soul Aside as a publishing effort. You might get a surprise Venom at the end of the year. We don't know. So you'll be disappointed this year as well. I tell you what you should do. I would just get rid of your PlayStation. because you don't sound like a PlayStation fan and you don't sound like you care about the games that they're investing money and time into. Like they have publishing efforts, they have exclusive efforts, they have deals. They're spending money in ways to bring you games and you don't care or like them. So I would just get rid of your PlayStation if I were you. That's my advice to consumers like you going forward. I would just hang out on PC. You know? I would just hang out on PC if I were you. I think you're wasting your time owning a PlayStation. Xbox Cope is to focus on first party versus second party because their platform of choice is going third party. Man, oh man. Big Dig Rock dropping a bar in chat. That's the truth. I consistently believe these people are lying. I mean, it feels that way. Listen, I cannot imagine buying a PlayStation 5 and getting all the way to February of 2025 and suddenly realizing that you're not getting what you hoped to get. It took you this long to realize that PlayStation's priority is not to overwhelm you with first-party studio games. Are you slow? Like, why did it take you 5 years to realize this, dude? Get rid of your PlayStation. According to your standards and according to what you want, PlayStation sucks. So get rid of your PlayStation. It's that simple. You don't seem like a very smart consumer to me. You don't. Like, PlayStation, according to your rules, PlayStation sucks. So get rid of your PlayStation. Space Jockey with the Member Plus, helping us hit a new goal and a new milestone all at the same time. That counts as a double. That's 276. I think you just helped us hit a new record, Space Jockey. I think that's how I'm going to start to handle this. I'm going to flip this all the way back around, and I'm going to say, listen to me. If that's your standard of excellence, if that's your standard of expectations, you are slow, mate. You took 5 years to realize that PlayStation isn't going to overwhelm you with first-party studios every year. You're not paying attention. Get rid of your PlayStation, because according to your score sheet, they suck. Now, according to my score sheet, they're doing great. I'm enjoying my PlayStation. It sounds like you're not, so I don't know why you're keeping it. I don't know why you're keeping it. If they suck that bad, get rid of your PlayStation. It's an easy decision. Just go trade it in. And then get like a gift card and then buy a bunch of games for wherever it is you're going to play. Get cash. Buy some Steam cards or something. Imagine having a bunch of exclusive titles releasing for the platform that you bought and go, well, they're not first-party studio games, so no games. Exactly. I need K. I need you to get a membership, K. I need you in my green rooms. Holy mackerel, you've been on point the last couple of days. Like, I don't get it. If they're that bad, there was 1 year. 581 is the new record. We are at 581 member plus and above. Listen to me. There was 1 year where PlayStation gave you three first-party studio games. There was 1 year. You got Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and God of War Ragnarok. 1. Haven't you realized yet that that's not their goal? That's not their archetype? The only real reason that happened is because Horizon got delayed. That wasn't even supposed to happen. And Lord Horg gifts a member and bumps the line to 277. Thank you so much, Lord Horg. Guys, help us get to 600 people at Member Plus and above. We're the highest we've ever been. Upgrade your membership or sign up brand new for Member Plus. It's $6 a month, man. We got some people getting involved and supporting this channel directly. Stormkiller renews for 22 months. Welcome back. And a gifted member from Timothy Tackett. That's a fun name to say. 278. Thank you so much. The only reason you got 3 first-party games that year is because Horizon got delayed. They've never once made it seem like you're going to be getting, 3, 4, or more first-party studio games. So, to me, if that's been your expectation, PlayStation has barely met your expectations. Why do you still have a PlayStation? It doesn't make any sense to me. I tell you what, it's just made up negativity. It's just a way to make it seem like PlayStation's doing a bad job as well. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's like, to me, if it comes down to they have to own the studio for it to count, Xbox had a year where they released Hi-Fi, Redfall, Starfield, and Forza Motorsport. Okay, and arguably, 2 of those were in terrible shape, Redfall and Forza Motorsport. So even Xbox hasn't really done that either. Xbox has not once given you this sense of like, dude, you're going to be getting big first-party games all the time. Now, Phil Spencer made it seem as though you'd be getting one big game at quality per quarter was his goal. I think you're getting that this year. Avowed, Doom the Dark Ages, The Outer Worlds 2, and Call of Duty. I think you're going to get 4 big games, and as far as we can see, I think they're all going to be good. I don't think people are loving Avowed as much as others. Like, I think Doom is probably going to be their shining star this year. Yeah, probably Doom. I think Doom the Dark Ages will be their shining star. It'll probably walk away with the most gaming nominations and things like that. Yeah, South of Midnight is sprinkled in as a smaller title. They have relationships with companies like Thunder Lotus, who's doing 33 Immortals, and then there's the Towerborn game. So to me, they're finally getting to that point. But here's the thing. Xbox went and spent a bunch of money so they could do that. They basically bought the studios that are making Doom and Call of Duty and The Outer Worlds. It's not like they made those games and brought them to you. They went and bought studios so that those games could come to you. And for whatever reason, Microsoft writing that check to buy the studio, that matters more to you than PlayStation writing a check to publish Death Stranding 2 or PlayStation writing a check to publish Lost Soul Aside. What's interesting to me is you're more concerned with what the check goes to than the quality of the games. You don't seem to care about that. That's what's so interesting to me. It's like both companies are investing money to bring games to the market. They're both doing it. Why does it matter how the money is spent? I don't get that at all. You're getting games. You weren't around, Lono. There was a time we got multiple games from PlayStation first party per generation. Now with PS5, we're experiencing cross-gen and seemingly one current-gen experience. I think you're completely misrepresenting the history of PlayStation. That's not true. There's always a cross-gen period. And the problem with what you're saying is we've been through this before. Cross-gen doesn't mean it's not current-gen. That's not true. The graphical fidelity and the performance of Horizon Forbidden West and Ragnarok, that is current-gen performance. That is current-gen fidelity. Those are things I couldn't get on my PlayStation 4. That is such a misrepresentation of, number one, the history of PlayStation, as well as how games operate. We've had this discussion about Cyberpunk. That's why Zubair's saying Cyberpunk. $5 from True SSJ Havoc. Perfect Image said the only thing keeping the PS5 for the controller, because the controller is better. Yeah, it is better. They need to stop the narrative. Listen. The whole, cross-gen means the game is invalid. That is something that is put forth by Xbots and anti-Sony fans. That's not something an actual intelligent person would say. And I always use the example of Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, on a bleeding-edge PC, is a next-gen game that will blow your mind. Cyberpunk also works on old-gen consoles and weak PCs. Just because Cyberpunk can work on old hardware doesn't mean it doesn't have next-gen features and high-fidelity graphics that are mind-blowing. No, Lona, we got more games at those times. Look at Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, Gorilla, etc. during the PC3 era. I'm sorry, PS3 era. Okay, so let me get this straight. Space Jockey isn't just going to become a member plus. He's going to gift 5 members. Now, this guy's getting involved. This is insane. 83. 283. This guy signs up for the Member Plus membership, and then also gifts members to others. Man, I really appreciate that, Space Jockey. Thank you very much. That support means a lot. And RXI jumps in with the Member Plus. It's happening. It's actually happening. We are getting an actual new member train. Not a gifted, but a new member train. You love to see it. Get involved. Click the join button. Pick Member Plus. We are now, I think, let me double check. I think you just broke the record again. 582. That is the highest that the Member Plus count has ever been. Let me update that on the back on my little Discord sheet here so I can remember. 582 is the membership milestone. That's our highest we've ever been. Crispy Bogod with 41 months in the VIP says, keep the train going, and bumps it to 286. 286. Okay, so let me get this straight about the PS3 era. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, Po Boy. Do you think the scope, the size, the bandwidth, and the development work that went into games during PS3, do you think the games we're getting today are the same? Do you think? I know you don't want to answer this question. I guarantee you don't want to answer this question because you know where I'm headed. You know that the scope, the size, the work, the level of fidelity, the level of production in a game like Ragnarok or Forbidden West is in another hemisphere compared to games you got during PS3, brother. The bandwidth is bigger. The budgets are bigger. The scope of the games, the size of the games is all bigger. And you're like, oh, but PS3 era. What are you talking about? Those games don't hold a candle to what we're getting now. The ever-present sort of everything was better back then. Everything was more fun, and we got games more often. I genuinely think that's so rose-colored. Yo, Drac gifts a member. Thank you so much, and gets us to 287. Sony's worst era financially, by the way. See my hang on, Corey, hang on. Corey's begging me to see his comments. What'd you say? Again, most of the games y'all are calling first party were not first party. All the Ratchet and Clank games prior to Rift Apart were not first party. The entire Resistance series is not first party. Tell them, Corey. Tell them. Again, you have never been given the expectation that every year you are going to be getting 3, 4, and 5 first-party studio games. They've not once set that expectation. That is a made-up score sheet from losers. They're losing, their team is losing, they're mad, so they say, this is the only thing that matters, and it just so happens to be the thing that they're not doing. It's so made up. It's so made up. It's like, well, our team's doing this now, so now this is what matters. Oh, okay. I understand. Yeah, 4 years of disappointment, 4 years of bad cadence, 4 years of bad quality. You're just suddenly now to the point, after spending $100 billion in acquisition, you're now to the point where you can claim, oh yes, we're putting out more first-party studio games than that company, so that's what determines what is winning. It's so dumb. I don't have another word for it. It's just dumb. The word I keep coming back to is it's just pathetic. It really is. It's so pathetic. It's like you don't get any of the things you're promised for 4 and 5 years, and you're out here running these weird narratives of like, all of a sudden the only thing that matters is first-party studios because the company I cheer for spent $100 billion to acquire more studios than God himself, so now we can claim we have more first-party studio games. We're winning. Oh, okay, cool. I guess we should have been cheering for EA and Tencent and Embracer Group all these years because they were publishing tons of games every year. This whole time we were cheering for the wrong thing. Was Wonder Woman canceled due to the live service backlash? Okay, so the Wonder Woman situation is a tragedy because, number one, that team, Monolith, was working on a game and that game got canceled and all the leadership left in 2021. They all left. So they had to completely rebuild their leadership team when building Wonder Woman. Now, we have it on pretty good authority that it was going to be, I guess, a live service game. As far as we can tell, WB is completely out of their gourd. They basically have misdiagnosed why Kill the Justice League failed. They think that it failed because the IP's not popular enough. So they're going to leverage Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. That's what they're going to leverage. They want to lean more into live service, and that's why these studios are gone, and that's why the Wonder Woman got canceled. I think they canceled Wonder Woman because they probably said it won't be popular enough. It won't work. So they axed it. They lost a really good studio. Po' says, so Chad is telling me most of the PS5 games so far aren't games we already got on PS4. Okay, so again, I think you're completely misunderstanding. When I played Horizon Forbidden West on my PS5, the fact that PS4 people could play it didn't affect my experience. Would you like to know why? Because my experience on the PS5 was everything I was promised. I was promised no loading screens or very quick loading screens. Got that. Loading screens in Horizon Zero Dawn were pretty egregious. They were pretty long. So loading screens were better. Graphical fidelity, significantly better. Better performance, 60 FPS. We got cinematic lighting. The lighting that was typically reserved for cutscenes was literally in my entire game. You didn't get that on the PS4. So I literally got the thing that I was promised. I wasn't like crossing my arms. Well, the guys on PS4 can play it. That doesn't matter to me. I was promised a handful of things for my PlayStation 5. Forbidden West gave me that experience. You're wanting to run to some made-up score sheet. You know what's funny? They could have tricked everybody, and they could have shipped that game on the PS5, and guys like you would have sung its praises and said it was awesome and said it looked incredible. And they could have been like, surprise, mother... And they would have been like, we're putting it on the PS4. And then you'd have to be like, oh, well, I'm going to retroactively take back my praise for the game because now it's running on weaker hardware. That would be like seeing somebody play Cyberpunk on a bleeding edge PC and saying, this is incredible, it looks realistic, this is so next gen, the path tracing, the ray tracing, the shadows, the reflections, the fidelity, it's mind-blowing. And then you see somebody playing it on like a 2070 card or something like that, and you're like, oh, this game sucks now. This game sucks because it can run on weaker hardware. Man, I can't believe how bad this game sucks all of a sudden. There's no logic to it. There's no logic to it at all. It's illogical. Quite literally, within the PC gaming space, you buy a new graphics card because it can do all that cool new tech, and then games come to the market and leverage that new tech while also working on older PCs, and no one goes, that game sucks because it can run on an older GPU. This game should only work on the new GPUs. This game should only work on the biggest and the strongest PCs. That's never been an argument in the gaming world. It's never been an argument in the gaming world. It's a brand new, concocted, manufactured Frankenstein, pathetic argument to make it seem like one company's not doing a good job. Why? Because your company's not doing a good job according to what you wanted this gen. That's all it is. It's made up. Look at what Zubair's saying. We applaud scalability in the PC space. I want everything to be able to run on a Steam Deck and offer path tracing. Scalability of games has been celebrated in the gaming world for a really long time, and it's still celebrated today. The only reason we play this stupid shell game point game with PlayStation games is because they kicked the ever-loving crap out of Xbox this gen. I mean, they demolished them. It's embarrassing. If you look at the quality of the games and the cadence of the games from PlayStation this gen and you compare, it's embarrassing. It is. You want to put up your little Metacritic chart on Twitter, you know that you're doing that because the games can't stand up to the actual comparisons. I'll take Returnal and Ratchet and Forbidden West and Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2 and I'll just put it on the table and be like, what do you got? What do you got? What'd your 100 billion get you? The last 5 years, what do you got? Indie and Hi-Fi? That's it? Indie, Hi-Fi, and Forza? 3? It's silly. The whole thing's silly. Wilds in 2 days. I mean, 2025, if you don't care about this kind of stuff and you're excited about third-party games, you're excited about second-party games, you're excited about publishing efforts, you forgot Spidey 2. I feel like I said Spidey 2. Mash says, I played it at launch 6 months later and a year later. My honest opinion at launch, 4 out of 10. 6 months later, like 5, maybe 6 out of 10. Being kind. What game are you talking about, Mash? If you like games you've been eating good. My backlog is absurd. It's absurd, especially when you play smaller titles. If you're willing to play smaller titles. Yo, Matt comes in with the 5-bomb and gets us to 292. We are right back where we needed to be, just like that. Holy mackerel. Thank you guys so much. Forgot Returnal somehow? You forgot Astro? Oh, I mean, if we're going to list them all, I feel like I said Returnal. Yeah, I'll take Returnal, I'll take Ratchet, I'll take Horizon, I'll take Ragnarok, I'll take Spider-Man 2, I'll take Astrobot, right? And then let's throw in the publishing efforts. Let's throw in the second party. Do it. You throw in Stellar Blade, you throw in FF7 Rebirth, you throw in Grand Blue, you throw in Rise of the Ronin, you throw in Final Fantasy 16, you throw in Gran Turismo 7, I forgot that one too. Yeah, then let's throw in the remakes. Demon Souls remake, Last of Us Part 1 remake, Last of Us Part 2 remastered, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, Death Stranding 1 Director's Cut. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's why everybody started fixating on that. It's like the only thing you can fixate on is the financials. We're not looking at the games. We're not looking at the games. Yeah, Miles, MLB The Show. They're not even second party. According to PlayStation, they're first party. Stop peeking in on the convos with the members, says Mash. You're talking about Redfall. Okay, Mash. Like, I'm telling you. You keep skipping Wukong? Well, because Wukong was not a publishing effort from PlayStation. It was an inadvertent exclusive, and it ran like crap, so I don't really care. I'm never going to celebrate Wukong. It ran like hot caca on the PlayStation 5. Regardless of what all the ponies said, they all wanted to flex and brag. It ran like doo-doo, and it still runs like doo-doo. Don't always forget Sackboy. I played it with my wife and really enjoyed it. Like, again, if you just look at the games, if you just say publishing efforts, money spent, what did PlayStation invest in this gen, and what did I get? If we're looking at exclusive deals or publishing deals and first-party studios, I have not been able to keep up. I just recently rolled credits on FF16. Some of that's because I took a break because I did not like how the game ran in performance mode, and it ran tolerably well on the Pro because the Pro is stronger than the base, right? Like, it's, to me, it's just like, it's not even a competition. It just isn't. And I think, on the subject of today with the situation with Fable, I think that is symptomatic of my issue and my frustration with Xbox. It's been smoke and mirrors and broken promises for 5 years. And this is like one last piece from that generation, from that era. I just hope we're out of that era of time now. You do not need to show up to a showcase and show me fake gameplay. You do not need to show up to a showcase and give me a fake frickin' roadmap. Your roadmaps have looked incredible this entire gen, and then they fall apart 6 months later. It's no more. No more. We don't need this anymore. It's like Xbox, there's no reason to do this anymore. 8 years for dodgy alpha gameplay. I'm not convinced of 2026. Yeah, it's there are people that, I've got people thinking that the game never comes out. I've got people saying it's like Cyberpunk. I've got people saying it's basically in dev hell. It's so hard not to think that Fable is in dev hell. It's really tough. I tell you what, one of the first signs that a game is in development hell is when you've shown me fake gameplay twice, and after 5 years or more, 6, however long it's actually been in development, all you have is some pre-alpha gameplay. Like, that's it? That's all you have? I was saying this earlier. Fable was supposed to come out this year. We're roughly 6 to 7 months away, approximately, from when it was going to land. You know, maybe September or October. We're 6 or 7 months away from when it was supposed to land, and that's all you got? That's it? Huh? Are you kidding me? What's going on? What was that fake game called the day before? Yeah, the fake game was the day before. I told everybody that game was fake. I got a lot of hate for that. Eugene says, I saw comments from industry media saying that Fable devs were laughing when the Xbox announced Fable for 2025. I saw that too. That was a Games Riot said that. And Mash with the 20 bomb bumps the line again and takes us to 312. Unreal. We'll see if he still has a tag team champion in the midst. Earlier, somebody matched him. Let's see if it happens again. The tag team work is killer. It really is. Mash is the lone gunman so many days. Derek. I heard it was a lone gunman. There's 10 months left in 2025, and it's already been pushed to 2026. That's really bad. Fable won't be able to ever release as Trill. Guys, also remember, a handful of people have signed up brand new for Member Plus today. Join in that effort. Right now, we need 18 people to either upgrade or sign up brand new. That show right there. They didn't even say early 2026. Oh, it's probably late. It's probably late 2026. They didn't even announce a window. No. Yeah, according to Nate the Hate, guys, could I get 13 more likes on the video as well? Likes are free, and they're super, super helpful. And a 5 bomb comes in from Alex and says, I'll help out. I will help Mr. Mash, and gets us to 317. Thank you very much. Nate the Hate said that it was already slated for the PlayStation for 2026. Yo, Christos left a comment. Good to see you, Christos. She says, I'm crossing my finger that it's delayed for the PS5 port. Honestly, it's good it's getting delayed. Fable IP is memorable. Rose-tinted glasses type IP. They need to have a hit game. A balance between a modernized game and today's players, but so captures the magic. I'm worried that after 5 to 7 years of dev time, all they have is some decent looking pre-alpha footage. That's my biggest concern. Talika left a comment on my Fable video. Sad about the delay, but as long as it's worth it and it's a good game, I'm for it. Also, if it means I can play Fable on my Portal, I'm down for that too. Same. I hope it's worth it. I really, really do. Despite the lack of an official statement from Microsoft or Playground regarding the exact cause of the delay, says Citizen JV, speculation points to a desire to further polish the game and potentially expand its reach. This leads many to believe the multi-platform release, specifically launch on PlayStation 5, is becoming increasingly likely. I agree with that. I think it's both. Ecstasis said, he now works for Insider Gaming. He's an industry insider. Ecstasis said that he was essentially told it had nothing to do with GTA 6 and it had nothing to do with the porting. It was because the gameplay and combat rhythm was, quote, not fun or something like that. Like, they wanted to make it fun and they wanted the game to be like next level. They saw how Avowed was received. I actually think that might be a decent take. That could be close to the mark about like the money spent on Fable. It's like we can't have Fable land like Avowed. Like Avowed lands is like it's okay. They need Fable to land and get like a 9. They need Fable to be like Game of the Year nominated. And Avowed's like, well, Avowed's fine. And maybe Fable was headed towards being fine as well. Because if you look at the gameplay, it's like it's not bad, but there's also nothing special about it. I've seen indie games with better combat. I mean, let's just be honest. We've seen indie games with small studios building, action RPGs or combat-focused RPGs that look better. So there could be something to that. That they're like, yeah, this thing's not headed for any nominee podiums. It's just headed for, it's headed for like a shrugged shoulder of like, yeah, it's fine. And I think that's an issue because of the money spent on it. If you remember, I'm tying all this together now. If you remember when Jez Corden from Windows Central said that Fable is headed to PS5, almost assuredly, and he basically said, yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed. I forget the phrasing that he used, but he said that it's been enormously expensive. Like, talk about that, right? If it's been enormously expensive, look at the results. Look at what they have. $5 super chat from Sirius says, did the Halo Infinite, Starfield, Redfall, and Avowed delays make those games amazing? Doc Dark deserves some credit for calling that out today. He talked about that in his video. He's like, believe people when they show you who they are. And he was like, the delays of those games did not seem to help. He's basically like, essentially what Doc is saying is, I don't buy that this delay is going to make things better. Like, he's basically like, they've done this before. And Redfall shipped at 30, Starfield shipped at 30, right? And it's like, Avowed is okay. Avowed, I'm sorry, FF16 poops on Avowed, and El Dudorino says LOL, FF16. I mean, I don't think they're comparable games. I don't think you would compare the two. Like, in FF16, like the value offer of FF16 is like an action game with sprinkled in RPG elements. And Avowed is like a traditional RPG, a more traditional RPG that has been sort of neutered down and made more approachable. I just don't think that I don't think they're in the same hemisphere of like what they're aiming at and what they're trying to make. Does that make sense? I don't think you want to compare the two. The combat systems alone are not even in the same universe. I was joking because I said it was a better RPG. Oh, better RPG than FF16? Yeah, like if you're wanting to actually get into dialogue systems and make choices and have control over the flow of certain things, I don't think FF16 lets you do that. That's not the point of FF16. FF16 is very linear. The only time you can compare games like that and it's like helpful or effective is if you're trying to tell somebody, if you want combat that's far more pristine, action-focused, and I would say bombastic and exciting, FF16 is the game to pick. If you want a game that's more about like dialogue and more of that traditional RPG feel, then Avowed is going to be better for you. Like, I think that's the only time comparisons like that make sense to make. It's like they're completely different games. They didn't set out to even remotely do the same things. Like, they're not. There's nothing similar about them. Yeah, you talk to NPCs, but the function of that is they're worlds apart. Dante says, pretty unfortunate in regards to Fable. I guess they'll release the game when they are ready and able. Reaction so far is the equivalent of flipping a table. Reminder, Need new HDMI cable. What? Huh? Oh, Sirius says, are Xbox fans not concerned that basically all their big games get delayed? I tried to draw attention to this. You know. Oh, he made it rhyme. Oh, pretty unfortunate in regards to Fable. I guess they'll release the game when they're ready and able. Reaction so far is the equivalent of flipping a table. Reminder, need new HDMI cable. You totally got that past me. I didn't even catch that it rhymed. You got that right. Woo! Right past me. I was like, I just read it like it was normal. You know? It's totally a normal comment. Jiminy. Yeah, Siriu, I tried to draw attention to this fact a while ago. Right? I said that there's a concerning pattern with Xbox first-party studios that makes me concerned about their publishing efforts, and it's that their studios have consistently delayed their games and brought them to the market and they weren't ready. It's been a very consistent pattern. Halo wasn't ready. They launched their multiplayer in a beta, buggy, glitchy, missing features. The campaign was missing features. They canceled features. So that's your brand ambassador, right? Then you've got Redfall. Then you've got Starfield. Then you've got Forza Motorsport. Then you've got Stalker 2. Then you've got, that's not a first-party studio, but it still fits the bill. Delayed, came out, wasn't ready. Then you've got, Avowed got delayed and came out with I would say, a pretty not great performance option. Felt added late. Do you see? And now Fable gets delayed. So the pattern from Xbox first-party studios or games that are primarily built for Xbox is they're delayed and they come not ready. They're not ready for the market. They're in bad shape. Did I include Forza Motorsport? I think I hope that I did in that little rant. Like, that's been their pattern. A $5 super chat tip from Trill. Just curious, anyone know the State of Decay 3? Pretty sure it got announced like 7 years ago, just asking. Yeah, it got announced 5 years ago as well. And the last time they showed it was last year, and I told everybody it wasn't real gameplay. It was just like the Fable gameplay. It was fake. We are one super chat away from Confetto. Outside of Hi-Fi Rush, Forza Horizon, Hi-Fi Rush, and Indiana Jones, they have 3 games that came to the market and they seemed like they were ready for the market. Forza Horizon 5, Hi-Fi Rush, and Indiana Jones. Okay? Everything else has been delayed and came to the market just easily seen to be incomplete and not ready for the market. Halo Infinite, Redfall, Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Stalker 2, Avowed, and now Fable's getting delayed. That's an awful lot of games that, like, the pattern is delay and then not ready for market. So when I look at Fable, I'm like, I hope it's ready when it comes because it kind of needs to be. Siege Master with a gifted member gets us to 318. Thank you so much, Siege Master, for bumping the member line. Yeah, even Flight Sim recently came out and it was a disaster with the servers. Was Hellblade 2 delayed? Hellblade 2 came to the market at 30. I mean, the pattern is that the games either get delayed, come when they're not ready, pause, or they show up with 30 FPS. That's been the pattern this gen from Siege with another one gets us to 319. I think Siege Master's trying to set up a 5-bomb dunker to 325. Stone Spire's going to beat him to it, and he does a single to get us to 320, hoping for the 5-bomb slam dunk. Let's see if it happens. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that Doom the Dark Ages, Outer Worlds 2, And the next Call of Duty, it's tough with Call of Duty because so much of that is just established institutional machinery just cranking out another game. I hope Doom the Dark Ages can kind of be... I hope South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Ages, and the Outer Worlds can kind of be the turning of the rudder for Xbox because they have a lot of stuff. Avowed was ready. Miss me with that. Where's the evidence that it was ready, Lone Wolf? Where? They delayed it and it launched with glitches and bugs and a performance mode that doesn't run that well. How you're going to argue that that was ready? I'm glad you're enjoying it, but they delayed it and it shipped with there are glitches, there are bugs, and performance mode doesn't run that well. There's nothing in Avowed that excuses how it runs. There's nothing in there. It's not that great looking. It's fine. The performance mode run fine? Oh, for Pete's sakes. Come on. You know that I love you, Lone Wolf, and I know you're enjoying the game, but come on. The performance mode does not run fine. You haven't experienced very many bugs. I'm 66 hours in. I've had 0 bugs. I've seen plenty of reviews talk about bugs and glitches. MASH just encountered a bug right now at the end of the game. Most games are like that now, Lono, in truth. It's what's wrong with modern games. It's better to wait a few months on most games. I've not had that problem with the games on my PlayStation. Spider-Man 2 was the glitchiest PlayStation exclusive I played, and it was incredibly minor. A lot of the glitches on Twitter were fake. Guys were going into photo mode and faking glitches. And it was rectified within like a week. Returnal had a glitch with one of the DLC costumes. And a 5-bomb from Siege Master. He's like, I'll do it myself. And he lands us on another milestone where I owe you guys some members. Thank you so much. We had a handful of people sign up brand new today with Member Plus. Consider jumping in and supporting the content directly. It's the most I think I've ever seen people sign up brand new. Like, I don't feel like Returnal or Ratchet or Ragnarok or Forbidden West or Spider-Man 2 or Stellar Blade or Astrobot or Helldivers 2. I don't feel like any of those games were you could describe them as like not ready. And you know what none of them did? They didn't ship at 30 FPS. Like, they didn't ship at 30 FPS. Like, what do you want me to say? And a 20 bomb from Pathalon Phoenix. He's once again matching MASH's gifted bombs, and he puts us 5 away from 350. Thank you so much, Phoenix. Silverblade had like 0 bugs. That's what I'm saying. Like, I like the severity of bugs and problems and performance issues. All right, take Avowed off the table. Fine, whatever. It still came late, and I've seen glitches, and I don't think performance mode runs all that well. Okay, fine. We'll take Avowed off the table. They still delayed it. You know, there's still a pattern. To me, it's a severe cause for concern. It's like, what's going on over there? What's happening? Okay, let's look at this another way. Look at what happened with WB, right? WB goes to Monolith. Whatever Monolith was working on gets canceled, and they task them with shipping this Wonder Woman game. I believe it was going to be a live service game from everything we're hearing. The entire leadership team of Monolith leaves. And what's it lead to? A game that gets rebooted, it gets in dev hell, and then the studio's gone, and then the game is gone. Eugene says, performance is thankfully solid across the 30 FPS and 40 FPS modes. Digital Foundry reporting on Avowed, with only occasional hiccups on both Series X and S. Series X's performance mode is the least stable option and requires VRR for the best results, with major areas unable to lock to 60. There you go. So no, Avowed's on the table. Sorry, Lone Wolf. Avowed's on the table. They delayed it, and it shipped with the performance mode that doesn't run well. I was very extremely harsh and critical of FF16, so Avowed doesn't get a pass. It doesn't. You delayed it, and the performance mode is the most unstable mode in the game according to Digital Foundry. So there you go. Another game that came late and seemingly wasn't ready. You know? Performance okay at 30. Well, here's the thing. They didn't say okay. They said solid, as in when Digital Foundry is using those words, they're not saying that 30 is great, good. They're not making a qualitative judgment. They're reporting objectively to you that performance is solid at the 30 and FPS modes, meaning it maintains those frames per second. And a 20 bomb from Mike Roach. Oh, you're not going to get me, bro. And he gets us to 265. Nice try. Preacher says, y'all back off my homie Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf's having fun in Avowed. I don't care that he's having a good time. The facts are the facts. Digital Foundry doesn't recommend the performance mode. The facts are the facts. Avowed got delayed, and the performance mode is not where it should be. I said the same thing for FF16, that the performance mode was the most disappointing thing about it. Fair is fair. I'm equal in my criticism. I'm not going to give Avowed a pass just because, you know, Xbox, it finally has 2 games in a row that came out and got good scores. Like, I'm not giving them a pass. That's another game that came to the market late. Why do you say Roach? Because I wasn't going to fall for the name. His name was Mike, and his last name was Roch. He's trying to get me to... He's trying to pull a Bart Simpson. Come on. Digital Foundry doesn't recommend performance modes on any games, to be fair. This is untrue. Ollie just recommended the one in Monster Hunter Wilds, and in a lot of their reviews, they have talked about how performance mode and the frames per second is, you know, running well. Now, their preferences sometimes, like John Linneman will be like, oh, you know, FF16 with motion blur is perfectly fine. I mean, again, that's his opinion. But they're not typically like, oh, don't run performance mode. They're usually just telling you how the performance mode runs. It's an Unreal Engine 5 issue. You can't speak on this topic without bringing that up. What game are you referring to in Unreal 5, though? Just, you had your chance, JW, says John always. Confetto, and there it is. I owe you guys a member, and that will put us at 366. You guys can make me... I never increase the count with my own members. I'm always doing my members as a celebration of the count, but you can do it through the super chats, and thank you so much. Yeah, the March PlayStation Plus lineup is Dragon Age, The Veilguard, Sonic Colors, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection. Cowabunga Collection, that's a pretty big win. Veilguard, I mean, I liked Veilguard for about 25 hours, and then it drove me nuts. El Duderino says, I've seen problems with performance mode in Avowed. It always has this weird blurring when moving because of the Unreal Engine as well. Oh, the guy that was bringing up Unreal 5. I'm sorry. That's what you were referring to. Okay. How am I supposed to pronounce your name, by the way? N-R-X-I-C? Nurksic? Noxic? How am I supposed to say that name? I like Veilguard. You bought it from Gamefly. I was shocked how much fun I was having with it, and then I got to the 25th hour, and I was like, this combat is starting to suck. Oh, got it. Yeah, I don't know if I want to say that word. That's like a flaggable word. So I'll call you Rex. Rex, can I call you Rex? You named yourself after an eating disorder. Sorry, I'm not... I had a good time in Avowed. I played it and beat it in 62 hours in performance mode, but it could have definitely been better in performance mode. Had bugs and grainy visuals. Thank you, Biggie. Yeah. Thank you, Biggie. Dragon Age for $6, basically. Yeah, there was a part of me that almost dropped the difficulty in Veilguard just so I could blitz it and roll credits, but I just didn't have the patience for it anymore. It's been a tough year for Lone Wolf. He loved Veilguard. you know, and I was enjoying it and then started dogging on it, and he's loving Avowed. You know, it's a tough year to be a fan of those games. It's funny how the fake media tries to downplay Monster Hunter Wilds playing on the PS5 Pro. The funniest thing yesterday was there was an article that said that like the PS5 Pro falls flat on its face with Monster Hunter, according to Digital Foundry, and Digital Foundry's like, the PS5 Pro is the best console to play the game on. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how could you interpret it that way? You know what I mean? Like, how could you interpret their video that way? Like, Ollie is literally like, this is the best place to play it on console. And then the people are like, yeah, it's falling flat on its face. Like, what? What are you talking about? You know, it's more unoptimized RE engine razor blades is the problem. And you want to be like, yeah, PS5 Pro falls flat on its face. Okay. Capcom out here doing it again. We built another open world game in the RE engine. It's going to run like crap, and people are going to blame the consoles. We're not quite sure how we keep getting away with this, but we're here for it. We're going to do it again. Do you remember that nonsense with Dragon's Dogma 2? These consoles just aren't as strong as we thought they were. No. They had every NPC in the town thinking too much, and it would cause a CPU bottleneck and the frame rates would tank. It was a poorly optimized game. I mean, did you see that? When they made the discovery that, like, every time you go into town, the NPCs are deep in thought, and it's like eating up resources. And people are like, these consoles just aren't strong enough. Yeah, sure, Jan. They barely optimized their game, and it's the console's fault. Jiminy Christmas. They started working on the REX engine because of its issues. They need to. Good Lord. Monster Hunter Wilds is one of the ugliest games I've seen this gen. It is ugly. When you're standing still and you're looking at like the characters and the monsters, it looks great. You start moving around and it's like, ugh. Somebody smeared mud on the camera. What's going on? Nasty. Absolutely nasty. Capcom went from being hailed as, man, their multi-plat games are really well optimized. Remember? It was like a year ago where we would bring up the multi-plat problem. And I would always say, Capcom's doing great work. Their games in the RE engine keep coming to the market, well optimized for PC and console. And then Dragon's Dogma 2 walked in the room and said, well, we're really going to mess up that reputation. And now Monster Hunter Wilds is doing the same thing. Like, they went from god tier multi-plat optimization to like the bottom of the barrel. It's like, gee, money. They've done so well with the Resident Evil games, and please don't let that engine F it up by being open world. Oh, right? Like the rumor that like RE9 is going to be open world. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 makes me want more games in the Cry engine. Yeah. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I think, is prized to be a very recognized game this year. Not quite Baldur's Gate 3 status, but I think pretty doggone close. I think people are really that game's gonna age very well. Like by the end of the year, I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 will be standing tall. It's not gonna be like forgotten. You know, I think people are gonna look back and say, yeah, that game has still stood the test of the year. Like it's one of the front runners, I think. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a front runner. Mon Hun Wilds is honestly a front runner for Game of the Year, given the review scores and the media press and the press response. Even though it's kind of ugly when you're moving around and the image quality and stability is bad. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to make buckets of money with Wilds. Oh, for sure they are. I'll make a bunch of money. Guys, if you haven't done so already, do me a quick favor. Double check the like button. And when I say double check, I mean make sure it's saving your likes. We could probably hit 400 likes right now. We only need a little over 50 of you to do it. Take a quick second and make that your ritual when you show up to these live streams. It's super, super helpful. You don't got to spend any money. You don't got to super chat or gift members or become a member, man. Just get here, hit like, and you can lurk and listen to your heart's content. It's super helpful. Capcom has not left their formula for 2 generations now if it ain't broke. Lido says, I'm 150 hours into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This is Witcher 3 level of greatness, just saying. No, the Creature says, F that. Go with your gut. Let's get 700 likes. A biggest concern with Fable, says Big Mac, is that the focus on a female protagonist could be indicative of an overall lack of choice, which was a major part of the previous games. I severely doubt they're going to make you play as her. I severely doubt that. That would be a very weird choice. I don't think they're trying to be... I don't know. That would be... I would say that's a mistake. I would say that's a mistake. What exactly is wrong with Monster Hunter Wilds on PS5? If you're on the base PS5 and you want to run performance mode, they're using FSR to do the upscaling. That's ugly. FSR 1 upscaling? Yuck. It looks muddy and blurry, and the image quality and stability is like shimmering. It's like the game is like vibrating. It's nasty looking. Is there a lack of choice? Suddenly turning Fable into a game where you're playing as her. Wait. Oh no, you might be right. Now that I'm thinking about it. Fable's never had a character creator. Yeah, but don't you typically pick between 2 characters? The one cutscene where he says something about a woman showing up or whatever, you're not meant to understand who he's talking about. And I think that only works is if she's the main character. I was under the impression that Fable would let you choose, but yeah, I don't know. I think she looks fine. I think she quite literally in the latest trailer, she looks like the actor. Like, I don't get what their obsession is with her face. That very first trailer was super rough, I will admit. You pick male or female, your character changes look based on your actions. Yeah, the people crying about DEI and Fable, that's just some real unwashed energy, man. That's real, like, that just has that basement dwelling, like, incel energy. I'm so tired of that conversation. It's like if the lead character isn't half naked or a macho white dude, you want to cry about DEI. It's like, is the character hot and half naked? Okay, we're fine. Is the character a white guy? Okay, we're fine. Everything outside of that gets attacked as DEI. You know what I'm saying? Unwashed energy, I like that. That's just, yeah. It's like, it just, the comment has a BO sense to it. It's like, ugh, like, what, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's just tiring. The whole thing's tiring. Oh, it's a black woman? DEI. Oh, it's a black guy? DEI. It's like, oh. Character's not half naked supermodel? DEI. Oh my gosh. I just can't do it anymore. I can't. I just don't have patience for it. I just think it's gross. The whole thing's gross. It's this whole movement of like angry dudes that watch videos that make them more angry. And I'm like, all right. I'm sorry it doesn't look like a waifu with their boobs hanging out, you know? That's a real problem in gaming. Gaming discussions have been co-opted by non-gamers. It's why I let people know. I'm just like, I just don't even want to hear that here, man. You know, there's plenty of YouTubers that want to stoke those fires and make those claims. Go hang out with them. I don't like that. It just makes me immediately feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're gonna say some wild aren't you? Kind of like the people crying about Yasuke in Assassin's Creed. Yeah. The whole culture shift around that is just seeing people jump on Ghost of Yote stuff and call it woke. I'm like, man, you guys have a brain disease. Like, I don't even know what to call it anymore. The whole point of Fable is customization of the character when playing. If that's not in the game, the core Fable fans will have a meltdown. Right, Paul. The cutscenes seem to The cutscenes seem to indicate, though, that she's the lead character. I don't know. I kind of agree with you that people will not like that. And not for... I'm not talking about the other reasons that, you know, that I'm being dismissive of right now. I'm talking about, like, the people that are going to say, wait, Fable's supposed to be about choice. That's not choice, then. No, character customization wasn't a big part of the game at all. I don't think he said character customization. Paul said customization of the character when playing. He's talking about, like, when you're playing, you're making different decisions and doing different things. Did Bayek face similar criticism from AC Origins? Well, I think anybody that looked at Bayek and AC Origins would say he looked like people from that region. I think that's people's frustration with Yasuke, is they're like, we've been waiting for a samurai Assassin's Creed, and you gave us a linebacker. Like, he's just this big brute, right? They don't like that. There are people that are being nasty about it, but there are also people that are like, he doesn't really look and feel like a samurai. And I think that's on purpose. I think they were avoiding the Ghost of Tsushima comparisons. He's like a bull in a china shop. He's not supposed to have the finesse of like a Jin Sakai. And I think that's more exciting. Like, his attacks are heavy and they have weight behind them. And he's a brute that also has the samurai training. I think that combination is going to make for an interesting dynamic of gameplay. I actually like that. Right? Just playing as another samurai, I don't know. I think it would have just suffered from lots of Tsushima comparisons. You know? And then Yote, we're going to have to get in discussions with the guys about realism. You know? Oh, she's a woman. How could she do all this? All they're doing is betraying the fact they didn't play the first game. Any fan of Ghost of Tsushima, you know, who played through the first game and suddenly has a problem with a woman being a strong and amazing warrior samurai, you're just telling me you didn't play the first game. All these grifting losers on YouTube that probably never set foot in Tsushima claiming that the game is woke. The game isn't woke. You're just chasing ad revenue. Like, there's nothing woke about a trailer like that. It's like, did you play the first game? What makes him a brute? He's big and strong and throws his weight around. That, to me, is a brute. Have you ever played a game and the brute enemy shows up? That's what the brute does. The brute's big, strong, broad-shouldered, and packs a punch. He's also black. That doesn't matter to me. The juxtaposition of his size and strength with the finesse of a samurai was what matters to me. His skin could be green. It doesn't matter. From a gameplay perspective, I think it's going to be more interesting to have a guy who's a brute, who also is a samurai, instead of just another samurai. It's why Yote. It's why Yote's important. It's like brand new samurai, brand new look, brand new feel. Dual sword seems to be her default, and then they showed other weapons in the trailer. That'd have been better than playing as Jin again. Jin's story comes to a well-rounded conclusion in the DLC. Anybody calling Yote woke is a grifting liar. I mean that. I mean that. React to my content. Put me in your videos. I want your audience to know that I think you're a grifting liar. I want them to know that. Because you are. There is literally zero evidence to claim these things about games like Yote. But you gotta chase the ad revenue. You gotta chase that click, that rage bait click farm. You know? I welcome it. I welcome it. Put me in your videos. I want your audience to know what I think, because I want them to either never show up here or one day realize that you're a grifting liar. Did you let Jin kill his uncle at the end? Yes, I did. I felt like that was the most honorable thing to do. I felt like not killing him was dishonorable to him. I think it was a very, very cool moment that you have to choose, and I felt like that was the right choice. Back on Avowed, I've encountered a couple of game-breaking bugs as well as numerous crashes while in performance mode, still having a ton of fun. Hang on. Let's see a female black-skinned brute. I don't know what you're saying. You let his uncle live? Yeah, that's shaming him. I don't think that's the right choice. You basically shame him by doing that. You're a slave to honor then? No, I think it was loving. It would have been unloving to shame him. I don't believe it's about the game being woke. It's more about people reacting on the game following a woke trend of female characters. What woke trend of female characters are you talking about? I believe it's lies stacked on top of lies, Hernandez. That's why I don't respect any of these people. They're liars. I don't respect liars. They make money lying. They're con artists. It's a lie stacked on top of a lie. There is no pattern of wokeness with female characters. There isn't. Where's this pattern? Anytime anybody's ever tried to substantiate this pattern, they always fail. They always fail. The people that are propagating this narrative will use photoshopped images of Aloy. Why? Because they're liars. They'll claim that Aloy looks nothing like the actress because they're liars. Put a chick in it and make her queer. So you think that has happened to such a great degree that there is a pattern and then it's ruining games. You think that that's happening. Okay. Again, it's a lie. You have been propagandized by con artists. The people that run this narrative, go look at their channels. Go look at their channels. Their channels are pathetic. It's just a bunch of lies. They'll make false claims. They won't do proper research. They won't do retractions. They'll get tricked by fake emails and run with fake videos. Wait, let them give us example of the queer females. Yeah, where is this pattern? Where is it? Tell me. What? Where? What are you going to claim? Two or three games are typically all that ever get used. They recycle the same images over and over and over again. They just keep recycling the same images over and over again. It's like, where's the pattern? What are you talking about? We are swimming in anime waifus and half-naked characters. I mean, they're everywhere in like every game. Dragon Age, there was no injection of a gay female in that game. There was a horribly written non-binary. Concord did not inject a gay woman into the game. Concord was some weird half-baked live service game that put pronouns on the characters. Where's your pattern? Where is it? Dragon Age, you can literally make your own choices. Let me guess, you think the game makes you make that choice because you saw a clip, which it doesn't. Yeah, Concord was just terrible game design, ugly characters. That's all it was. It's queerness. You haven't established a pattern anywhere. You haven't. The overwhelming majority of games that continue to come out are not games that represent what you're talking about. I'm telling you, it's lies stacked up on top of lies, stacked on top of lies. Dragon Age and Concord wasn't woke. Okay, let me ask you something. You're saying it's a pattern of that happening in games, and you're using you got two games. Dragon Age, I will admit, they put progressive stuff in there. I thought the top surgery scars was stupid, cringy. I thought the Tash character is one of the worst written characters I've ever had the displeasure of interacting with in a game. Concord was a joke, and I said it was going to flop, and the character design was terrible, okay? That's not a pattern in the market of, yeah, they're making all our women ugly and gay. Where's the pattern? Where? What are you talking about? Joker Quinn gifts a member and gets us to 367. I mean this. You can't establish the pattern. I don't get into arguments that I know I can't win. I know I can win this argument. It's why I love to have this argument. I'm giving you some inside baseball here. You're going to get in the ring. You better be ready. You can't win this argument. There is zero pattern in the market of they're making all of the women gay and ugly. There's no pattern at all. You've got a couple of games that clearly wore their politics on their sleeve with, top surgery scars and weird non-binary lectures in Dragon Age. I will grant you that they put stuff in there that was absolutely not needed and bad for the game. I will readily admit that. You can't demonstrate a pattern in gaming. You can't. I don't know if there's a pattern in gaming. Okay, so basically you're coming from Star Wars Acolyte and you're angry, so like every game is that. Avowed has some woke. There are over 2,000 games coming out every year. Dragon Age and Concord count as 2. Easy Evan says, if you got a choice to be gay, straight, or whatever, it doesn't mean it's woke. It just means that the game development team gave you the choice. You could do that back in Mass Effect. I don't get why people get so turned on that. They're like, oh my gosh, like, well, you can't. It's like, what? I don't know who that is. I'm a regular, but I changed my name. Lono's being nice. I would call you what you and tell you about yourself. And but I behave in here and I respect the house rules. Thank you. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 allows me to smash Hans. I'll try that in my second playthrough. You can't use Mass Effect in your argument. It wasn't first party. Cyberpunk, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Horizon, TLU 2, Baldur's Gate 3. So you think in Cyberpunk they made characters ugly and gay? Did you play Cyberpunk? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Have you played that? One of the first potential romance options that walks into the game is a plunging outfit, very busty woman. Horizon? They made it optional in DLC. If you wanted to, you could decide to be in a relationship if you wanted to. Baldur's Gate 3, again, much like RPGs of the past, you could romance anybody you wanted. That wasn't new. That wasn't new. Do you see? I'm telling you, it's propaganda, mate. It's not true. They are liars. They are con artists. There's a gay option, but there's been gay options in games since Mass Effect, brother. It's not a new thing. There have been games for a very long time that are like, you want to smash? You can smash. Like, they've just made that available to you. You are quite literally watching con artists that lie to you. They will use photoshopped images of Aloy. Do you remember when they were using the picture of the character from Avowed that IGN made themselves? Do you remember this? This is what these people do. This is what they do. They grab either fake images, photoshopped images, or images that are misrepresentative of the product, and they act like this is the game. They throw that on their thumbnail. This was IGN showing just how crazy you could go with the character creator. You could literally make them look like an alien Michael Jackson. And like, listen, that gets used by these people to be like, yep, another woke game with ugly characters. Because they don't care about the truth. They're liars. They are con artists. They deal in propaganda. They pay their bills with lies. I have no respect for it at all. Stop hiding behind a weaponized woke word and say what you actually are too afraid to say. You're not ruffling any feathers. You're not ruffling feathers. I asked you to substantiate the pattern. I've had this argument and discussion with people time and time and time and time again. And they never, and I mean never, establish the pattern. It's always faked Photoshop images or characters that they didn't like. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. You didn't like, Muscle Mommy Abby in T-Lu 2, so now every game with the woman is bad. It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. You just strike out every time. Nobody has ever gotten the batting cages with me on this topic and has actually hit anything out of the park. You always strike out. Why? Because you have allowed somebody to convince you something is true and there's nothing behind it. No substance at all. I'm just saying there's woke out there. Lots of heavily political games. That's all I'm saying. Lots? You think there are a lot of heavily political games. So let's analyze what you're saying. Okay? You're using very, very high-level quality adjectives, right? Heavily political games. Lots of. So quantitatively, you think there are a high number of heavily political games. I want you to list them. List them. If there are a lot of them, please show them to me. Check the last 10 gaming videos from Asmongold. No. I'm not going to Zach's channel. I'm talking to you. You have made a claim. Let me know. If there is a lot of them, it should be easy to list them. Like, I'll give you an example. I can say there are a lot of failed battle royales, and then I can go find a list and read it to you. Right? Realm Royale, Radical Heights, and the list goes on. There was a bunch. There was one from Ubisoft. There was one from Fallout, right? There was all these battle royales that failed. Long list. Okay? I want to know. You think there is a lot, right? Here's what I think happens. I think there are tons of games that come out every year. And you can easily zero in on ones like Dustborn and make a bunch of money hating on a game that wasn't made for you. It wasn't. Dustborn wasn't made for, right-leaning conservative white men. But buddy old pal, they take a lot of interest in it for some reason. They take a lot of interest in it. Weird. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's like getting really angry about the plot points in a Spanish soap opera. It's not made for you. What are you so upset about? Who was Dustborn for? People that think like that and live like that and have those viewpoints? Imagine a game came to the market right now that was all about, practicing Judaism. That game isn't for me. I wouldn't be interested in that. Who's it for? I don't know. People that believe that. People that think and live in that way. Also, Spanish soap operas are kind of dope. The drama. Ay, Dios mío. Right. Did you play Dustborn? No. It clearly wasn't marketed to me. Why would I? I clearly saw that game wasn't for me. See, what's interesting in this discussion is a lot of people think they know what I believe and what I think, and it would probably really surprise you that I'm actually not in that camp at all. I am very much not on the liberal, progressive, or woke side of things. I'm not. But I also say the market's pretty big. So if you're going to make a game about that, if they made a game tomorrow about somebody transitioning, like a guy that wants to become a woman, that's not a game that's made for me. I would not want to play it. I wouldn't want to hear the dialogue. I wouldn't want to progress in the story. Not for me. It wasn't a game. Again, what I find interesting is the obsession over games that are not made for you. There's plenty of games made for you. There are. If you want games that are made for dudes, homie, you would never be able to play all of them. You wouldn't be able to play them all. Then a guy, why are you still typing? Where's that list? Yeah, where's the list? Where's the list of games that are heavily political? Where are they? Listen, if you're so worried about games being ruined, why aren't you playing the games that are 100% targeted at men? Space Marine 2, Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy 16 was definitely a game that guys could get into, you know. Good-looking guy, good-looking women, great story, great combat, big, huge, bombastic fights. Very much plays into male fantasy, big time. You're the hero, you're strong. You know what I'm saying? Very, very Game of Thrones feeling story. Women can play those games too. No. You're missing the point. There are games that are clearly targeted towards men, right? Stellar Blade, clearly targeting males. The First Descendant and all the DLCs and the new things they're adding to the First Descendant, clearly targeting men. 100%, that's a target audience. Target audience doesn't mean that other people can't enjoy it, right? Like, Barbie was clearly targeting women with its movie, but there were people that went and enjoyed it, you know, and they were men. They were like, yeah, this is fun, right? Echo chamber in here. How's it an echo chamber when you're still talking, you dolt? Keep waiting for my list. Get up on the mat. You want to talk about being a man? Why don't you try being one? Get in the dadgum ring. Give me your list of games. If you think this is an echo chamber, why are you still talking? We want to know. Where's your list? Say it with your full chest. You have our attention. Where are all the games? You made a claim, back it up. That's what a man would do. Live out your male fantasy right now. Do it. Be the brave hero. You have made a claim, back it up. Be a man. That's simple. I'm the odd one out having a different opinion. People are engaging with you with your opinion, and they're asking for evidence of your opinion. If people expressing an interest in your opinion and asking for evidence of your claims, if that's a problem, then your claims are as flimsy as anything. They're flaccid. We've been here before. Someone makes a claim, and we ask you to back it up. What's the problem? Why is that such a problem? You're having a good time? You're not answering the question. You're dodging. That's cowardly. There's nothing masculine about you. That's the irony here, is the people that really want to champion, like, masculinity and men. You seem very boyish to me. You seem very cowardly. Maybe I'm not masculine. Don't seem like it. You seem prissy to me. Get in the ring. Back up your point. Stand up straight and say it with your chest. You came in and you said all this stuff, and we're asking for the list of games. We're asking for evidence of your viewpoint and your claim. Do it. Do it. It isn't hard. If there are so many games, you're a female? Okay. Then be courageously feminine and tell me your view. You can do it in a very delicate and precise way. Okay, Dustborn. Oh my gosh, we already discussed Dustborn. Where's your list of games? Where is it? Dragon Age. Okay. Whew. This list is getting long. Games we've already discussed. Games I have already conceded had that stuff in them. I've already conceded that those games had that stuff in them. Concord. Oh wow, we are at 3. Oh, and we're it's still the 3 games we've already discussed. Wow. What a terrible thing. Avowed? Avowed. You think Avowed, as you described it a little bit ago, I'm going to use your words. You think Avowed is heavily political. Really? Tell me how. I need you to explain that one to me. Tell me how Avowed is heavily political. I would love to know why you think that. You see how this works? We're taking an interest in your position. Nobody's attacking you. It's playing identity politics again. Okay? In what way does it use identity politics? In what way? How does it use identity politics? I don't know if you even know what that term means, but we're going to see. Because I need to kind of maybe to define identity politics. Because I don't think you know what that means. Let's get the definition ready, right? Let's get the definition ready. I want you to tell me how identity politics are in Avowed. I tried to warn him, chat. This should be good. What? You didn't hear what the lead artist believes? No. We're not talking about what that unhinged director said. We're talking about the game. I need you to substantiate how Avowed uses that in the game. Where is it? Where? I'm not talking about the unhinged director that said stupid things. I saw what he said. That guy's a buffoon. I don't respect him and what he said and how he behaved. That was a joke. He put the entire project in jeopardy. Establish right now, what does Avowed do to play on identity politics? Outline it for me. He says, I'm just saying there's a lot of woke out there, lots of heavily political games. Here it is, chat. It was tagged as a political game. Do you know that on Steam, that can be something that's not done by the devs, but the users? Wasn't that brigaded? And they got that put on there? You're talking about the tags on Steam? It has the LGBTQ plus tag. Okay? Doesn't that simply mean that the game has those things in the game? Kingdom Come Deliverance is tagged with that. Spider-Man 2 is tagged with that. Like, plenty of games have that tag. I think that quite literally means that that content is simply in the game somewhere. I don't think that means it's identifying itself as an LGBTQ-like movement game or politically motivated game. I don't think you understand that tag. And I'm pretty sure the users can do that. Like, the users can do it. Lots. Let's just say that we're gonna let you keep Avowed, even though you haven't substantiated your position. You had to run to what the director says. Where are the rest of these games? Where are they? Guys, if you're enjoying this slow motion car crash, make sure you hit that like button. Lona was not prepared for the Asmon chat to raid you today. I don't have any issue with Asmon Gold. People want to cite him as like a source. Like, well, go look at all of his videos. Like, come on. I want you to tell me. What are the games? No, it's there, Lone Wolf. I just went to the Steam page. LGBTQ is there. And when you click on the LGBTQ tag on Steam, a bunch of games pop up. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was tagged, and so was Spider-Man 2. It's literally there if that is in the game. Like, you can be gay in the game, or there's a gay character in the game. And then it gets the tag. Like, it's that simple. He agrees with Asmon like me. Who agrees with Asmon? What are you talking about? Listen, Banana, you now are a minute away from getting banned. You have a minute. You have 1 minute, all right? I'm going to treat you like a child. You have 1 minute to put more games. I want a list. I need you to give me at least 10 more games. 10. If there are lots of heavily political games in the market, I need 10 games right now. If you can't do that, you're banned. Now you want to ban me? Oh yes, I very much want to ban you. I don't like you. I don't like somebody with a gold badge hanging out in my community, spewing your drivel and stupidity. You have a minute. Let's hear it. Let's see it. Come on. Come on. I enjoy being here. Really enjoy debating. Real talk. Really? Prior to today, you've said virtually nothing. You changed your name? I told you. What was your name before? You have a gold badge. Baldur's Gate 3 was... He thinks Baldur's Gate 3 was heavily political? Your name was Monty Mole. Okay, I remember you, Monty. I remember you. You're going to get a stay of execution. Let me explain something to you. Okay? Let me explain something to you. I don't have tolerance for flimsy, fake, unintelligent positions anymore. I'm over it. If you're going to say something, I want it backed up. If you can't back it up, then shut the frick up. That's my policy now. I did this to a guy yesterday. If you're going to trot out a position and you can't back it up with anything, then seriously, don't talk. I'm not interested in hearing from you. I am not. I'm not interested in hearing you parrot, drivel, anti-woke garbage. If you can substantiate your position and laundry list all these games that are heavily political, then you're more than welcome to put your position in the chat. If you can't do that, then be quiet. I want to talk to adults. Do you understand? Do you get the wavelength that I'm on? It's not about views that I don't like, Banana. I absolutely love engaging with views that I don't agree with. But I need it to be more than just parroted nonsense. It's just, you're just parroting nothing. Where's the substance? Do you understand? I think there's just a pattern of ugly gay women in games. Okay, let me hear it. Where? And you list 2 or 3 people. Oh my gosh. Call the fire marshal. The gaming community's on fire. Oh man, there are lots of heavily political games. And you list 3. What? Contains overtly pro-LGBTQ messaging. Okay, so if games have that messaging, you label that. You label that as heavily political. Okay, so you've now listed 4 or 5 games. Okay, this is what I'm going to continue to say about this. There are games that come out that are, let's call them cozy sim games. Okay? Cozy sim games do not interest me at all. They just don't. Unpack the box and place your lamp here and your bed here and then walk into the kitchen and pour yourself a cup of tea. No interest. Not interested. Okay? There are a lot of those games coming out every year. Every indie showcase I watch, every trailer montage we watch, there's a lot of those little like cozy sim games. And you know what I say? Well, those games aren't made for me. Those games aren't made for me. If a game comes out, is going to have like overt messaging that's like pro LGBTQ and you don't like that, this is going to really twist your noodle. Don't play them. They're not for you. If you're that fragile, if you're that weak, that a game that lets you romance a dude is that bothersome to you, then don't play Mass Effect, don't play Baldur's Gate 3, don't play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, don't play them. Just avoid them. If they're that scary, if they're that boogeyman to you, then just don't play them. There's plenty of other games to play. There are so many waifu simulator games on Steam. Go have a ball. You know what I'm saying? Just play the games that do the things you want. This idea, this insistence that no games come into existence that do things that you don't like, it's fragile, it's insecure, it's boyish. It's boyish. It's like, I don't expect every game to come to the market to do what I want. If a game came out that was like drenched in rainbows and was all about like celebrating becoming a trans person, I'd be like, that game's not made for me. I would never set foot in a game like that. But I wouldn't be like going on a war path against it. Who the frick cares? Make the game you want to make. I don't care. And then the market will determine if the game is successful or not. Right? Make the game you want to make. If the next God of War came out and that's what they did, they decided that Kratos was going to transition into Karen and he was going to beat everybody up with a purse, I wouldn't play it. I'd be like, I don't want to play that game. That sounds like you took the game in a terrible direction. I have no interest in that. It'd be pretty upsetting, obviously, given the franchise's history. Be like, what the frick are you guys doing? But I'd just be like, I'm not going to play that. Gamergate 2 in a nutshell? What Gamergate? What? I don't understand. There are people that view the world differently than you, and they're making games that represent those views, whether it's Dustborn or anything else where if they're putting that messaging in the game. You do understand that a large percentage of the development world has people in it that don't think like you do. There's an awful lot of liberals and progressives in the dev world. You know that, right? There's a whole lot of gay people and transgendered people in the development world. You know that, right? There's a lot of women, a lot of minorities in the development world. Do you know? You have to know this. They're going to put those things in their games. That's just what they're going to do. There are people that are making games that are all about the heterosexual male fantasy. The women are half naked and incredibly attractive, and you're in there either playing as them or saving them. That comes from a belief system. That comes from a view of the world. That comes from plenty of things. Like that's in the world. That's fine. I think the over objectification and the over sexualization of women, I think it's destructive, gross, and toxic, and I don't want to support it. Like I stopped playing what was it, the First Descendant. I stopped playing it. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not putting this out here on Main Street. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. When I played Stellar Blade, didn't unlock any of those outfits, didn't take those screenshots, didn't give into that weird trend of turning women into weird like dolls to gawk at. I think that's destructive and bad, and I won't support it. Am I going to war and trying to shut those games down? No, I make space. I'm like, there's market demand for it. I mean, what do you want me to say? There's an extreme to either side, wouldn't you say? Yeah, and to me, that will always be the case. And this is the issue I have with the things that you were saying and the things that other people say. You act like there's some agenda to ruin gaming, and you can barely list 5 games. I mean, barely. We had to browbeat you to get you to list 5 games. It's like, there are so many games coming out every year. Can you not just ignore the 5 that did the stuff you don't like? 5 games? Ooh, scary. What? This is the thing that I think this smacks of. It's like when we go to a showcase and we watch the showcase, and I expect to be really excited by about a third of the showcase, and a third of it I'm going to be like, okay, maybe, and then there's going to be a third of the showcase that I have zero interest in. Games that are either like, gacha games, waifu simulators, cozy sim games, stuff like that, right? They're just not for me. And we end a showcase and everybody gets really angry because they're like, these games suck, those are stupid, why is that dumb little cute game there? And it's like, well, they're trying to hit a broad demographic, right? There are lots of people that love those sim games, the cozy games, they love their little deck builder turn-based games, and I don't care to play them, okay? So what I do in those showcases is I make space for all the gamers who aren't like me, because I think that leads to a healthier gaming market. I want sim games making buckets of cash because it keeps those studios open and it keeps the gaming economy strong. And I never really set foot in those cozy sim games. I just don't. To me, I think it's healthier for the market when there are people who think and believe this way or think and have these preferences. Them getting games is important. It's important. You want to whittle everything down to every game should come out and appeal to white men? No. The gaming world is so much bigger than that. It really and truly is. If games come out and appeal to women, or games come out and appeal to the black community, or if games come out and appeal to the LGBTQ community, that's not a bad thing. It isn't. That would be a sign of strength in the industry if there were like pockets of different people that enjoy different games, just like when a bunch of cozy sim games show up. And I'm like, I'm never going to play those, and I'm glad people are really excited about it. Does that make sense? So let's just say, Banana, for the sake of the argument, let's say in the last couple of years, you could argue that there were 10 games that came out that had clear efforts or agenda in the game. Let's just say 10, okay? I don't think that's a sign that there's this like trend in gaming where, oh my gosh, this is where the games are going. That's 10 games. It's just, you know what I'm saying? There's just 10 games. That's not that big of a deal. If that game caters to that to audiences like that, and here's the real kicker. Here's the real kicker. A lot of these games didn't do well financially, and that will then course correct. And they will say, if we're going to target this audience, they clearly don't want this. There's a movement, maybe not a trend. I think everyone's misdiagnosing it. I really do. I think there are just people that believe certain things, and they're like, hey, I'm kind of done wanting to make games about, this fantasy or this trope. I would like to make a new type of game. Does that make sense? Po'boy says, can we move on? No, you don't dictate anything that happens here. We needed more female leads. I'm telling you, this is what it is, Banana. Track with me. Track with me. It's the Killmonger hairstyle is all it is. It's the Killmonger hairstyle. A bunch of people watch Black Panther and Michael B. Jordan looked so fresh that everybody said we should make our character look like that. And we got like 6 characters in a row that had Killmonger's hairstyle. Okay? I think something happened in a similar way. I think people said, man, we've been making games with grizzly, gruff, white guy leads for a while. Why don't we make a lead as a woman? Why don't we make a lead a black woman? Let's try something new. Right? Let's try something new. That's all it was. Especially when they saw the success of Horizon Zero Dawn. I literally think that Horizon Zero Dawn had an impact on the market. I think the success of that game, it was very successful. Having a lead redheaded woman, I think it made people say, let's try something new. We should try something new. Oh, no, please. You think these people understand emergent properties of complex systems? It's all a conspiracy run by evil gay robots. I don't think people intentionally did the Killmonger hairstyle, and I don't think people intentionally said, yeah, we're going to ruin gaming. Let's make a bunch of characters women. I genuinely don't think it's what everybody thinks that it is. I don't. I think a lot of this is propagated by dishonest grifters and con men who are taking advantage of a cultural moment where a lot of men are angry and they feel disenfranchised. That's what I think is happening. The popularity of these channels and the popularity of these videos is on the other side of the coin. It is an emergent property of a moment in history where men feel cast aside and devalued, and you're angry, and you should be. And this is not the way. This is not the way forward, to scream and yell and cry about ugly women or gay people in video games. You aren't coming across very tough and macho. You aren't. You seem unhinged and emotional, so chart a different path. It's totally okay to feel devalued, disenfranchised, attacked, maligned. You've been made the villain in a lot of people's twit-longers, and you didn't do anything. But this is not the way. It isn't. There's nothing masculine about living in a state of emotional angst and anger. That's not masculine. That's not tough. That's not manly. It isn't. It's being given over to emotion. It's the opposite of control. It's the opposite of discipline. We can have a conversation about the raw deal men are getting. That's a whole different and possibly healthy conversation. That's why these videos are so popular. That's why these channels are exploding in popularity. Because listen, there's a lot of you out there. There are a ton of you. And you feel like you're getting beat up by the world. And you feel devalued and attacked. And that is completely legitimate to feel. It is. But this isn't the way forward. To buy into con artist grifting content that's like, they're coming for our games. They're making everybody ugly and gay. No, they're not. They're not. I assure you, there are plenty of great games for you to play, plenty of great communities, and plenty of great friends to meet, and good experiences to have. Just ignore the games that are clearly not made for you. You'll feel a lot better. There are plenty of movies that aren't made for you. There are a lot of TV shows that aren't made for you. Good golly. There's a legion of LGBTQ movies and TV shows out there. Are you upset about that too? Go watch Top Gun Maverick or go watch Jason Statham beat people up. Like, there's so much content for you. There really is. Quit watching porn. Quit watching that weird stuff, right? Live a more stoic and disciplined life, and play video games that were made for you. You know? Look at the popularity of Reacher. There's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that. There's a lot of people that want to see that. They want to see a big, strong dude save the day, because that's fantasy for you. You know? When a studio spends 15 straight years of white male leads, one white female lead, is it political to make a single game with a non-white, non-male character, or are they just doing something different? You and Madam watch Reacher? I think we're going to get around to Reacher. We're rewatching Daredevil right now in preparation of the new season. Yo, thank you so much, Borbor, for the 2 spot. Majority white men complaining, entitled Cowardly? I don't know. Oh, Cowardly. I'm down with celebrating masculinity, but that doesn't equate putting anyone down. Like, Banana, it's also really hard to feel like you're not bad faith, because you made all these claims and made all these concerns, and you are like the cliche, gamer dude, and then you're like, oh, I'm a female. It felt like you literally did that to just disrupt the flow of my rant. You didn't genuinely mean that. So it doesn't feel like you're here to have a good faith argument or a good faith discussion. Right? Like, I'm genuinely meaning this. Like, I'm tired of people coming in saying something that's like empty, vapid, or fan fiction or fake, and saying, well, okay, we're just going to debate you. No, back it up. Back up your position with facts, with evidence. My gender's not up for debate. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your gender is. You were very much posturing as if you wanted games that celebrated, like, male fantasy, masculinity. And it's like, well, then be masculine right now and back up your position. You can be masculine, even if you're a female. Be masculine. Be tough. Let me see. Let me see your argument. It's that simple. You know? Abby's a muscle mommy. She's tough. She'd say it with her chest if she was a real person. So can you. I don't care what you identify as. Be tough. If you're going to sit in here and posture tough, then be tough. Not a fan of Last of Us either, but no surprise. Here's what I find interesting in these discussions as well. When I play a game with a character who is nothing like me, maybe even thinks differently than me, I actually find that to be enjoyable, right? Because it's not a threat to me. I get to see the world from their viewpoint. Right? I get to see the world from their viewpoint. It's like, I'm not a gay woman. I mean, I guess I'm kind of like one because I like my wife quite a bit. I'm attracted to women, but I'm not Ellie. I'm certainly not Abby. I'm not Muscle Mommy, okay? Get to see the world from their perspective. I don't feel threatened by that at all. I find it to be very non-masculine and very non-tough to be threatened or bothered by people that aren't like you. I find that to be very fragile. I do. It's there doesn't seem to be anything tough about it. There doesn't seem to be anything masculine about it. It seems very boyish and skittish and scared. That's how it comes across to me. It seems very like scared of the dark. Like if there's a woman in the game, she's basically there to be your eye candy, and if she's not that, that's a problem. And if then I want to play as a guy. Why do I have to play as a girl? Well, I don't understand. Like, why is that so upsetting? Why is that such a problem? Scared of the dark? Really? That was not meant to be a double entendre. I mean, they kind of seem scared of the dark. I miss the times when people just said what they don't like so I could filter them out of existence. Stop beating around the bush. Just say it. Just say what you really want to say. Say it. Trill's like, I didn't even catch that. You're slipping, Trill. You're slipping. You know what I mean? You got to keep us on our toes. That's part of your job. It's in your contract. I just don't like watching gay sex because I'm not gay. It grosses me out. I don't want to see it. Okay. I don't want to play a game where I'm engaging in anything intimate like that. That's not why I play a video game. Right? This year I'll be married 18 years. I'm not playing a video game to knock boots with somebody. Not interested. I don't hate on games that do that. I'm not like, there's a sexual agenda. I mean, you could actually probably make that case, honestly. Here's what's really funny. Oh, this will really twist you up. I would have an easier time making a case that there is a sexual agenda in gaming. It's easier to make that case because you could look at the character designs of women and how they're treated and how they're portrayed and the litany of basically like adult XXX rated games on Steam, and you could say there's a clear trend of that in gaming. There's more of a trend of that in gaming than what you're worried about. You're worried about wokies and some gay people showing up. Have you seen the actual trend in gaming? It ain't that. I'd have a real easy time arguing that. I'm not out here being a Puritan and saying, well, how'd you get that out of my gaming? But buddy, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's on every game, every advertisement practically. There's way more of that. See, that's what kills me in this discussion as well. It's like, you're saying there's a trend of making women uggo, and it's like, they're the exception to the rule. There's like a handful of characters you could argue that they tried to make like conventionally, not attractive. Like, they're not conventionally attractive. Like, a handful of characters, and every other game is like, they're like supermodels. It's like there's a far more clear pattern of that than the alternative. That sells? Okay. So, why do you think that is? Like, really break it down from an anthropological sense. Like, from if you have like an operating philosophy of man, okay? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that has so consistently worked through the annals of time? Why is that such a consistent and efficacious advertising mechanic? Why? It's because it's speaking to an instinctive part of you. It's just there. Being a visual creature, being a creature that is attracted to things, like, it's just there. It's instinctive. They're marketing to your basically like your default settings. They're marketing to the 13-year-old boy that's like, boobs. Like, that's still in your brain rattling around. And so that's why it's so effective. That's why it's always been effective. That's why I always find it strange when people claim this. I'm like, you understand that there are almost no games doing this. Like, almost none. It's so few in number. That's why I always say that this is just such a made-up thing. It's such a grift. It's such a con. It's such a con. You go to the Steam database and look at every single game coming out over the next 7 days. I could show you more games with half-naked waifus than you've listed today that have ugly characters. And that's just in the next week. Abby wasn't gay. Oh, did somebody say she was? I like diversity in games, says MM2K. Games with pre-made characters, I'll often play as a woman, i.e. Borderlands. What I mind is the finger wagging over water cooler political topics. Hurts the escapism. Oh, for sure. I was heavily critical of what they did with Tash in Dragon Age the Veilguard. I thought it was egregious. I thought that is absolute, artistic hijacking. They 100% hijacked their own art with that entire scene. With Tash as a character is quite literally an imposter. Tash doesn't even belong in the game. Tash harms that game significantly. I mean, significantly. You talk about putting yourself in a game and putting your own thoughts and messaging directly in the game. Buddy, that's just see-through. That's as transparent as it gets. Like, secondhand embarrassing. What in the world? It's more often these anti-woke outrage people only pay attention to AAA games and dislike indies. Even in the AAA, though, it's not that common. It's super uncommon. Look at the sales charts. Look at the successful games. Look at the games that are doing well, and look at the games that are winning awards, and look at the games that are getting high reviews. Here's a good one: Monster Hunter Wilds is headed to the Game of the Year podium probably. Have you seen the one character in Monhun Wilds? She looks like Pamela Anderson Baywatch inspired. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I do not think even in the AAA world it's this huge thing. I just don't think so. Quick question: how much time do you spend editing your videos? My creative director / producer does it. Creature does it. I think the average video he puts together for me, he could speak to it. I'm gonna guess 2 to 4? Not long. We turn over videos pretty quickly. We turn videos around very, very quickly. He says about 9 seconds. There you go. About 9 seconds. Yeah, not a lot of time. If there's one thing we pride ourselves here on, it's how little work we can do. We're very lazy. On average, sometimes 30 seconds. There you go. You don't like editing? That's why I asked. A really, really good thing to get in the habit of doing is get yourself a nice canned intro, outro to put on the front and the back of every video, and just save all your B-roll, whatever you're talking about. So you've got good, B-roll for transitions, so that if you make a mistake, Creature and I make for a pretty good pair because I don't make a lot of mistakes, so his editing is largely just putting things together and not fixing things. I think on average, every video, he has to fix maybe 1 to 2 mistakes that I've made, and the rest of the video, he's not having to take out flubs. It's just, here's part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take that mistake out. B-roll, 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 B-roll. Right? The hardest thing he probably has to do is the stupid quote grabbing from articles. That's probably the most tedious thing he has to do. It depends on the video. Sometimes 8 to 10 minutes, sometimes 3 to 4 hours. Not leaving that. I'm not sure who you're debating with, Bor, but we don't need to take it there. Good golly. Thank you for the $2 super chat, but that's come on, dude. Most of the games are indie, that's why they're not getting any DEI funding. I don't even know who he's talking to. It wasn't meant for Banana. He mentioned Veeder. Who's he talking to? I don't even see Veeder talking in chat. I don't know why he said that. I don't know why he said that. Oh, he mentioned Vithar? Then he mentioned Veeder. Why is he talking to Vithar? Yeah, some of you guys gotta cool it. Jiminy Christmas. Woke is anything that seems forced for the sake of it to these idiots. Well, this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people who are going to say whatever is necessary to get clicks. Okay? And so they will say that South of Midnight race swapped. And we know that that is a lie. Anybody claiming that's a liar. They will say Ghosts of Yote gender swapped and it's woke. These people are liars. They're not telling the truth. But they have to say that. They have to. It's how else are they going to make any clicks or any money? It's why I don't have any respect for it. They're quite literally saying things that aren't true because it's the only way they can make money. It's like, well, they have to lie to the public and they have to lie to their audiences because that's the only way they're going to make money. And the reason that it's easy is because they deal in rage bait content. And when somebody's angry, it's very, very easy to convince them of something. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody's really, really upset, their critical thinking is out the window. You know what I mean? Stream derailed with woke and DEI discourse. It wasn't derailed. I think this is a perfectly productive conversation to have. I tell you what, Pool Boy. Why don't you take the day off? You're not contributing anymore anyway. You're just complaining about what we're talking about. So, take the day off. DEI railed. Yeah. You think the let's talk about masculinity in a positive way gets clicks? No, like these effing woke a-holes are ruining games. Is this a bad time to complain about what we're talking about? Well, I tell you what we should do. We're close to the 3-hour mark, and we obviously drove everybody off with that. I know that when we get on that subject, everybody leaves because they're freaking sick of it. But when we've got long-standing members and gold badges saying it, it's like, all right, get up on the stage and argue your case. And they once again failed to do it. Every time this subject has come up, it comes up, I don't know, once every 2 months maybe. Most of the time I just push it off the table and don't want to talk about it. But I once again gave somebody the floor, and they completely and utterly failed to make their case. And they completely and utterly failed to back up their claims. So the batting average of people that are claiming this is terrible. 2 weeks? No, we've not talked about... The last time we talked about this and got in this debate was after that Witcher trailer. You know what I mean? You gnawed it down to the bone today. You were all about it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was worthy. There's a lot of woke out there. There's a lot of political game. There's political games. You couldn't list more than 5, so you haven't substantiated your position very well. You couldn't even get to 10. So, that's not very many. You know? The people that push this narrative hyperfixate on a handful of games. They use photoshopped images of characters to make them look terrible. So, it's just a dead horse. It really, really is. It's gotten to the point now where they're having to latch on to games that aren't even remotely close. It's like they all latched on to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and it's been so commercially successful, they all moved on to Avowed. They all quickly moved on to Avowed, and they're like, well, it's failing, it's flopping. Because of and again, the director completely sabotaged that game with his nonsense comments, because that game is 100% not what they're claiming that it is. You can continue to list games you don't think it's helpful. No, you can't continue to list games because we gave you roughly 15 minutes to do it and you didn't, because you can't. So, yeah, we begged for a list for 15 minutes. No, you can't. You made it clear that you cannot list that many games, because there aren't. Now they're going to move on to Monhun Wilds. How are they going to move on to Monhun Wilds? Are there people claiming that that game is woke? You disagree? I mean, disagreeing with facts is on brand for you. Chat, I think lots of games have swords. Can we name 10 of them? Final Fantasy 16, Ghost of Tsushima, Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, Sekiro, Ghost of Yotei. What was it? Wait, did Donkey do that video? Yes, he did. The one was like, this game's got a sword, this game's got a sword. Oh my god, that video was funny. I'm pretty sure Donkey made a video about how, like, every game has a sword now. Oh. You can create a female character and give her facial hair. I didn't realize the bearded lady at the circus is woke. I mean, that's what they all... I saw the people doing that, putting beards on the female character. Like, they just ended up looking like the bearded lady at the circus. Oh, wait. Are you saying, can you do bearded... Wait. You're saying they're going to go after Monhun. Oh, I thought you were talking about Avowed. So they're going to go after Monhun because you can put beards on the ladies. Wow. Remarkable. We'll go to 130. If you guys hit 400 members today, I'll extend. That'll get us ahead of pace. We'll go to 130. So 24 minutes to get about 30 members. 24 minutes, that's pretty good. That's about a member a minute. If you guys want to boost it up, make sure to celebrate your renewals. And we had a bunch of people today sign up for Member Plus. I think like 2 or 3 people. Like, that's actually a lot for us. Like, usually it's almost all gifted. So to the people that signed up for Member Plus, thank you so much for doing that. We are we're 18 away. We are freaking 18 away from hitting our milestone. We would like to have 600 people at Member Plus, and we are 18 away. Personally, like the bearded lady from Spaceballs. My mom has a mean 5 o'clock shadow. You can put beards. Yeah, I think in most character creators, they've always allowed you to do that. Like, if you just want to. They've allowed you to put the female hairstyles on the men. They've always let you do that. I've been in so many character creators where, like, I could be a big, tough, burly-looking dude with pigtails or braids that are clearly meant for the female characters. That's not new. It just isn't. Zubair says, you should know the rules about hot takes and not giving evidence. Argue with a dude pretending to be a woman for 2 hours. Complete waste of time. It is interesting that he changed his name. Like, did you change your name because you couldn't get rise out of me anymore? Like, because I knew what I was going to be in for? Look at all the FromSoft character creators. See, what you fail to realize is that more censorship equals less woke. Pretending to be a woman? Yeah, because when I called you to the mat to be masculine, you said that you were a female. So, what were we supposed to think about you saying that? That was something that you did. And it seemed very disingenuous, and it seemed very bad faith. Pretending? Yeah, it came across that way. It didn't come across as genuine. Hotshot says, I changed my name a year ago because you couldn't say my name. Most English-talking people can't. Wait, what was your original username, Hotshot? I don't remember this. Bear says, my hair is longer than it's ever been in my life. And I'm like, now what? There's just a lot of it and it's hard to dry. Yeah, I don't miss long hair for that reason. Like getting out of the shower. Good night, it was annoying. My kids were playing Vac Simulator back in the day, putting beards on their female faces in a game. They thought it was hilarious. I'm not sure if you can detect someone pretending to be a gender. You said it in a way that it did not seem genuine at all. Cohen Vermeer, and it's Dutch. Just funny how English people try to pronounce it. Oh, okay. Was I even close? Cohen Vermeer? Deleted message. Night. Made their account 9 days ago. And they're spamming a link to a video. Let's see what they're trying to get me to see. They're trying to get me to see the official gameplay reveal of Blight Survival. And Hardy, I don't understand what you're trying to do. You have a 9-day-old account and you're spamming a link to a YouTube video. I'm going to go ahead and ban you. I don't think you're going to be worth keeping around. Okay, when Lono's asking me for a list, but when you guys are telling me I'm a this or a that. Is this woke hater getting mad at getting misgendered? Did you check out Spectre Divide on console? Free to play 3v3 tactical shooter, no interest. PvP. That's what I'm saying, right, Trill? That's what yeah. It's an anti-woke conundrum. It's an anti-woke conundrum. I assumed his gender and he got upset about that. I assumed their gender and they got upset about that. That sounds like something out of Dustborn. I think you'd like Dustborn. Oh, it sounds like that's a good game for you, bro. It sounds like you would like Dragon Age Veilguard. Tash would be your favorite character. Glad you're seeing my point. What point is that exactly? That you can't win an argument and now you're making it clear that you're a hypocrite? I'm not sure what point you're trying to make. I really don't. Dragon Age that bad? It's on PS Plus the next month. It didn't do well. Yeah, it did not do well. Assassin's Creed Shadows full trophy list has leaked. 55 total trophies. I'm checking the news feeds now. We're going to go to the green room in about 15 minutes. If you guys want to extend the stream, you can do that. We had some crazy generosity today from a bunch of people. As usual, MASH was going absolutely bonkers. Siege Master went crazy. Alex went crazy. Matt and Space Jockey didn't just grab a member plus, but actually gifted as well. Siryu was gifting. And then Pathalon was in there duking it out with, he matched MASH toe-to-toe the whole day. He matched MASH, which is impressive that we got somebody out here willing to do that. That is crazy. My chat is busted. There we go. All laughing. Aren't we? Yeah, you're really desperate to try to get some kind of a victory here. Sorry. Not really happening. We were told that pre-orders were strong on Veilguard. That's why I don't buy pre-order hype. We were not told that pre-orders were strong. There was a very generic statement made by one of the higher-ups. That's not... The pre-order situation with Assassin's Creed is completely different. They're speaking to actual quantity about AC. They're saying AC Shadows is basically tracking behind AC Odyssey, right? That's not the same as the generic statement that they trotted out about Veilguard. The generic statement about Veilguard was like, I even said, listen, I was very, very much concerned and, worried about how that game was going to turn out, right? I was like, they were limiting who could review it. They were suddenly not including people who were included. It seemed very, very much like they were on preemptive damage control with Dragon Age Veilguard. And then they had their little comment about how, the sales or something was going fine. And it was super generic. And I was like, I don't know. And I was very, very harsh about how that game's, all that stuff was handled. right? So yeah, I don't think Veilguard's in the same camp as like AC Shadows though. Pretty unique shooter game. It's called Cheater Cheetahs. It has built-in wall hacks. Really? All I'm getting is Chester Cheetah because they think I've misspelled Chester. They think I've misspelled it. Holy mackerel. Physical copies of Monhun will require a 15 gig update to play, so big day one patch for Monhun Wilds. Coming in. AC Shadows is March 20th, and they say that it's pretty much locked in now because they have an embargo 2 days before that. Excuse me. March 18th is the review embargo for AC Shadows. That, to me, shows confidence. I actually think the game is going to do well. I don't think it's going to crush. I think the review score is going to be fine. I think commercially it's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to save Ubisoft. It is not. It is not going to save Ubisoft. But I think it's going to do. I think it's going to do well. It's already on pace to do well. It's not like it's underperforming and is in shaky ground. If it's pacing behind Odyssey, I think it'll do well. Is it customary for AAA to hit PlayStation Plus so early? No, it usually means that the game didn't do well. The irony, Eugene says, is all the people who complain about identity politics are playing it themselves. The complaints about others being represented is a cry for more representation. The irony. And hypocrisy, it knows no end. Yeah, I've always thought that was very funny, Eugene. They're like, get this identity politics out of my game, and they're basically upset that they're not being represented, right? It's like, oh, so it sounds like you want more representation. Interesting. It sounds like you want me EI. You want me EI, not DEI. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you're included. It's all about the me EI, chat. I want equity and inclusion. Me. I'll let that one slide. Wow, that's good. I think that's pretty good. News, just saw somewhere Black Panther game got leaked. Different from the one with Captain America in it. I'm not seeing anything in my feeds about a Black Panther game. Is it footage or just information about it? I'm scrolling right now. I'm not seeing anything. Not your worst. Let's have art. Oh my gosh. Don't take the bait, Lono. Don't take the bait. We're going to green room in 10 minutes. This man said art. Study the history of art. Okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm okay. I like art. Oh, you do. Okay. just unbelievable. So art shouldn't be about the views of the artist. Got it. So you don't like art. Right? Like, Dustborn, as a piece of art, represented the views of the artist, which is what all art has ever done in the history of art. Let's avoid putting things in a game to fit a narrative or political position. So you aren't about art. Let's focus on making something truly artistic. Really? Again, study the history of art. Good Lord. Like, read Francis Schaeffer's breakdown on the philosophy and purpose of art historically. You need to read an actual breakdown about, you're saying you want art. All right, I don't like art. Yeah, you don't want art. That's the grand irony. Like, the bassist from U2 once said that. He was like, basically like people telling them not to put their views or what they thought politically in their music, and he was like, what do you mean? Like, the history of art and poetry and lyricists has always been about expressing the views of the artist, what they think truth is. When did Rage Against the Machine get political? It kills me. I was like, I don't take the bait, Lono. Don't take the bait. I just wanted to make good art. That's like literally what the history of art has been. Somebody says, this is my view of the world and truth and reality itself, and I'm going to make it. That's quite literally what art is supposed to be. You want entertainment crafted to your preferences. That's not art. It's not putting something in for the sake of it. That's disingenuous. Why do you get to assume the intention, though? Why do you get to assume the intention? If the artist thinks and believes those things. See, you're imagining that a developer is like, I'm a conservative white Christian, and I'm going to put things in here that I don't believe just for the sake of putting it in there. It's like, no, these people are very much putting into the game what they believe. They're not just putting it in there for the sake of putting it in there. It's what they believe. That's like literally the history of art. Like, if you look at the history of people and their different forms of art, different styles of painting, it was all about expressing either a way to find truth or a claim about truth and reality itself. That's what art is. That's what musicians have done. That's what painters have done. Playwrights, authors, they're trying to find truth or make claims about truth. So if they're like, I think this is really important and I hold these political views, and they put it in the game, that is their art. Like, that's their expression of their viewpoints. And see, the beauty of it is it's doing its job because you're paying attention to it and disagreeing with it. It's quite literally achieving its aims. It's entering into the public space, and you're engaging with the view and talking about it and disagreeing with it. The grand irony of acting like it's not art when it's quite literally functioning as art always has functioned. It enters into the public square, and people debate about it. They debate about the messaging, the truth of it, the accuracy of it, the wrongness of it, the falseness of it. Like, it's literally doing what it's supposed to do. Now, you want to talk about, it's not commercially successful, they didn't make a lot of money. That's a separate discussion. Not all art is crafted with such intentions. So you presume some special knowledge of the intentions of the people that are making these things? Where did you get this special knowledge? Where? What plane of existence are you on? I don't know the intentions of the team behind Dustborn, but I think it's safe to assume they put things in the game that they believe. Why would I assume? So am I to assume the opposite then? Antithesis is the only way to have discussions like this, right? So if they don't believe the things they're putting in the game, I'm supposed to assume the opposite. Oh, they don't believe those things that are more like liberal, progressive, woke, or whatever. They just put them in there for the sake of putting them in there? Just play Dustborn at something all right? So, but what I'm telling you is, it to me seems very easy to believe they put that in the game because they believe it. That's why it's there. It's their view of the world. It's their view of reality. It's their politics. It's their worldview. It's their morality. It's their views put into the game. You're arguing that they basically don't believe it. They just put it there for the sake of putting it there? Looks like we got that extension without even needing more members. No, I'm out of here in 3 minutes. We're going to green room in 3 minutes. It's shoehorned in typically versus Dustborn is literally just a view of the world. So you think it's shoehorned in? What are you talking about? I think the best example of it being shoehorned in is Tash in Dragon Age Veilguard. I will agree with you. That 100% felt forced and shoehorned into the game and was disruptive and damaging. But I don't think a lot of these games that you're claiming are putting in things like Dustborn or any of these other games. I don't think they're like, oh, we don't really believe this, but we're putting it in here. No, they believe it. That's why it's there. You literally can't make right-wing leaning games? What? Oh, no. No, you didn't type that. You think that they can't make games that represent that side of the aisle? Are you nuts? That's it, chat. We did it. We did it. Right before the buzzer. Right before the buzzer, we went full. Never go full. Holy frick. They won't get funded. They won't get funded, chat. There's a real drought out here. There is such a drought of right-wing games. Get your identity politics out of gaming unless it's my identity politics. Oh my gosh. You're a joke. An actual joke. You didn't say that? I know you didn't say that. I'm not talking about you. MEI is the best thing I've heard this year. That's what it is. They don't want DEI. They want MEI. They want everything to be about them. Don't you dare put that identity politics in the game. Well, unless, of course, it's mine. What would a right-wing game even be? You know what I mean? What would it be? Tell me. What would it be? What would you do? You're everything wrong with society. Yeah, I'm the problem. Yep, you got me. You've got me pegged. You've got me pegged. I'm the problem. Holy mackerel. It's stupid. I don't even. We gotta go to green room. We do. Holy mackerel. Oh. You can't make right-wing games. They won't get funded, man. Real lack of right-wing representation. please? Can you please just not? There's a link in chat to the green room. We've got to go. We've got to go. Left wing is favored. Yeah, they're winning. If there's one thing the left is doing, they're winning. Nothing. They're winning. They're the ones. Eepers. I gotta start the green room. Oh my golly. Whew. All right. Thank you so much for being a member plus or a VIP. If you're watching this later, you can only be here for these live if you're VIP or you're member plus. We had some people sign up today. Hopefully you guys enjoy kind of a look behind the curtain in show planning and show prep. Thanks so much for supporting the uploads and the live streams. We appreciate it. We appreciate it very, very much. I'm going to spam a link in chat, and that is where we are going. That's Green Room. If you want to come with us, you got to upgrade, be it member plus or VIP. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect folks over. And then I will change that thumbnail because we are no